And you know they're making a Mario movie, like a Super
Yeah.
Mario
Didn't
Brothers
know that.
movie.
Yeah.
Yes.
Interesting cast.
You saw
Very
cast?
interesting cast. It is.
Yeah.
I saw like an article once again on BuzzFeed, and it was just like funny tweets about it, and it was tweets about how like the Italian Americans are probably like, why 'Cause Chris Pratt, but it's just so funny doing it with Super Mario Brothers, like how they do it. Like they would do it with a mob movie. They were making it seem like this was going to be like an intense mob movie.
But like about Mario.
It's interesting for sure.
Yeah.
And I wonder if, because Ben Schwartz is Sonic, and then people were talking about like them making a joint movie with the two of them.
Yeah.
It'd be funny.
Were they ever in anything together? Any video game?
Yeah, well, it's Mario.
Oh, I thought you meant Chris Pratt and Ben Schwartz.
No.
Sega has since they used to be their own thing. Now they just make like games, pretty much. And Mario and Sonic like go to the Olympics is a very popular Mario game.
Oh.
So there you go.
Is it?
The more you know.
I mean,
It's fine
that's
popular.
It's not super popular, but they have like a lot of iterations of it. Like I think their one came out on Wii, and then every time Nintendo puts out a new system, they put out a new Mario. So anyway, we're recording. This could be the cold open.
We're just talking about the new Mario movie.
Yeah, it's interesting. That's an interesting casting for sure.
It is, and it's an interesting.
But like who would
Like, is that still in pop? Like, I feel like it's for children, but do children still play Mario? Super Mario Brothers? Like, isn't that more of our generation?
You know what? Yeah, no, I think that they do. So I know that I still play Mario, but I know that like the Nintendo focuses a lot of their games and a lot of their things into kids, and I think it's still. I don't know if it's like wildly popular like Fortnite is, or like the Minecraft. I don't know if it's as popular as those two games are like among kids, but I think that it is.
it's still like known and played?
Yeah, and also like you're hitting the nostalgia chord, which is always works.
Oh yeah. It'll work for some demographic.
Right.
I bet Matt and Adam will go see it in the theater.
Definitely. Kidding me? Sonic was the last movie I saw in the theater before everything shut down.
Yikes.
It's the last one, yeah. I was in New York and I was like, I could see The Lighthouse or I could see Sonic. And I'm like, I'll stick with
So,
Sonic.
hold on a second. You were in New York City,
Yeah.
and you decided to go to a movie theater to see Sonic the Hedgehog?
I was in New York for 14 days and
Okay.
I was just about done with being anywhere in the world.
Okay, that makes sense.
And I just wanted to go to a movie, and I had seen almost everything. I saw Uncut Gems the night before. I literally would go to a movie every night.
So, Uncut Gems was almost your last movie you saw.
Almost, yeah.
Which would have been a good one.
Yeah,
for a
which
laugh.
would have been a good one, yeah. 'Cause
Now
I
it's Sonic.
And I remember like halfway through, July 2020, I was trying to think back of the last movie I saw in theaters. And I was like, oh yeah, it was Sonic. But you know what though? I defend it. Sonic is a pretty good movie. I like it. You didn't see it, I assume.
I did not.
James Marsden, pretty good.
I love James Marsden.
Does he play himself?
Yes. Yeah, and Jim Carrey's in it too.
He's the
Jim
villain,
Carrey's
right?
awesome. Yeah, he's Dr. Robotnik. Dr. Egghead. Very good. He's very good. He was like goes off and is crazy Jim Carrey.
Yeah. I don't know what the last movie I saw in the theater was.
Yeah, I can't really. I was pregnant, so I probably hadn't been going to the theater much.
Makes sense. I was not pregnant.
Thanks. Anyway, welcome to the Average Nobody's podcast number 132. Our special guest is now just our permanent co-host. Justine's here.
Yeah. Bye, Adam.
Adam's in exile.
That's it. Adam's done.
Will he be back? Who knows?
We'll see. Well, I won't be here next. No, will I be here next? When am I leaving? I don't know.
I think you will.
Yeah, the 14th.
Oh, maybe. Well, it depends on when Matt's back.
I won't be here.
Yeah, 'cause
I won't
Matt's
be here
gone.
next week.
Yeah.
Yeah. Unfortunately.
So this might be the last podcast for a tiny bit, a little bit. I could just do it by myself. I don't know how
You should
technology
definitely
works.
do it by yourself.
Yeah. I could have Joe let you in. You and Joe could do it together.
You think that would be interesting?
Yeah, I think so. I don't know if Joe knows how to use any of this equipment, but I think he can figure it out.
I just don't know what we would talk about.
Talk about
You can-
Justine and I being gone.
Yeah, you can bring Mitch in. He can run it.
Yeah, you can just do it with you and Mitch. I think that'd be
bring
It's
fun.
just me talking.
Bring him Derek.
Oh,
You and Derek, what would you guys talk about?
If you guys want to do a podcast, I will happily set you up with you could do a virtual Skype podcast to you. I'll tell you how to record it.
Derek and I think it would be very interesting.
It would, but I feel like you would have trouble keeping. Someone would
Yes.
need to keep you on track, and I don't think Mitch is that person.
No.
Who's going to step in and keep you on track?
No. Mitch will just let it ride.
Yeah.
He'll just let it. I think that if you have one with Derek, now tell me if I'm wrong. You'll record for an hour and a half. Maybe you guys really hit it off and you goes for 2 hours. And it's this great podcast. And then Derek, like 15 minutes after you stop recording, he calls you and was like, we can't put that up.
Please don't.
Yeah.
Please don't. do
Please,
it.
we have to delete it.
We can't. No one can hear that.
Erase that from
and
the archives.
I will learn from my mistakes. You never listen to Derek when he says delete something.
No.
No.
Because the lost tapes
The lost song.
of the lost song that Derek did was
When Justine was going to New York, right?
Yeah, when Justine lived in New York and we made that silly mixtape, which we started off as like, oh, it'll be fun to do like Justine's favorite songs. And none of them were any of Justine's
No.
favorite songs.
Iris
It was
by
just
Google Dolls. Is that one of your favorite songs?
I mean, I love it. But it's just funny.
Kiss from a Rose.
it turned into like we finished like 6 bottles of wine in the basement.
Yes.
It was one of those nights where we just decided we were going to have wine.
Yep. And
And Neil was like, I'll do Kiss from a Rose. And when he did it, it was like he had never listened to the song before.
This song's so long.
even though he had all the lyrics right in front of him.
He didn't. And also, like, the easiest parts of the song is like the beginning and
Right.
the chorus. And he doesn't even know how it sounds. Like he's singing it. Doesn't even know the he doesn't know like the
cadence,
crescendos,
yeah,
nothing.
no.
It's just very funny.
That
Anyway,
was
yeah,
funny.
Derek would have you delete that podcast.
Yeah.
I know.
So
Well-
do it with caution, but I will happily allow that for
All
sure.
right.
You, Derek, and Adam would be hilarious.
I'll run it by HD. I think.
Yeah.
I'm sure he'll do it.
Yeah, I'm sure you could get like a good draft for him to do.
Oh, yeah.
And speaking of drafts, today we have a very good one.
Yes.
I think tough, but I think it's going to be good. Murder mystery movies.
This is my absolute favorite movie genre.
Do you have your full?
I have my full list. I got
Okay.
all my notes, and I feel like draft order is very important here.
I'm curious to see. Yeah, I'm curious to see what. Because you have it broken into categories, I assume again.
I do. Well, I mean, I've got my top 5, and I feel like the top 2 I have on here are the most in danger of being picked. I don't think you're going to pick any of the rest of mine.
Okay.
So-
yeah, I'm pretty confident in that.
I feel like a lot of yours are skewing older.
I have 2 old ones on here.
Those are
I think I
One,
probably have
like,
both of those as well.
Mid. Oh,
actually.
really?
Yeah, I think I might.
Well, Jesus, Matt, you're trying to give me a panic attack?
I'm sorry.
I don't have any
Hey,
that
it's
are
all
old.
the drop of the hat.
This is such anxiety. Who knew that?
We have our
knew
names.
that.
We're not using the app anymore. Yeah. All right. Whoopsies. Do we have any from last week? Even though
Whoopsie daisy!
there was one that everybody seemed to enjoy,
Buck Cherry.
which is Buck Cherry.
It was the
yes.
funniest one.
Which the actual whoopsie is that I thought it was Chuck Berry,
But
which is still wrong.
I forgot Buck Cherry was a thing
Yes.
until.
It's funny that you had Buck. Did you hear that song at some point recently?
No. I legitimately just thought that I was
Buck Cherry, Chuck.
Yeah.
I can see Chuck Berry, Buck Cherry, like,
Matt's,
just
Matt's a
mental
huge
flip.
Buck Cherry fan.
huge, massive.
But Justine caught him. I mean, that one we all caught.
Well, I think.
You guys caught me
I caught-
mistaking Paula Dean for
Julia.
Childs.
And we caught the Rob Reiner, Carl Reiner.
Yeah,
Yes.
that one was.
Mistake.
We were off to the races on that one.
Someone remind me now. Which one is the old one? Which is the young one? Carl Reiner is the old.
Yeah, Rob Reiner's the one that was in.
Wolf of Wall Street.
Wolf of Wall Street.
Okay.
Carl Reiner is his dad.
Right.
Yeah. But now,
Very old.
now Jess Keller's listening, so she's gonna be there. She's gonna be texting whoopsies.
I'm kind of upset she wasn't listening to begin with.
Well, I think that.
She tried, right?
Yeah, I think she tried, but she was getting mad at all the whoopsies.
Oh, right.
And so
Yes,
it was
you
driving her
did say
crazy.
that.
So she's like, I can't listen to this. I can't listen to it. I'm going insane. But now that there's an outlet to shame you and then have it come on the next episode, I think she's.
I mean, we embrace the whoopsies, you know?
Yeah.
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
Yes, we do. All right.
It's time for everyone's favorite game show, Celebrity Birthdays.
Okay, so
It's Justine.
Justine,
Yeah,
first time ever.
first time ever, it was kind of sprung on me yesterday.
Well, this would be Adam's
Yeah.
spot, so we had to keep the rotation going.
So, I mean, I feel like it's a difficult day.
Okay.
I think you guys, you definitely know who all these people are. I'm just wondering if you're going to get them. But so go easy on me because this is my first time doing riddles. For
I trust
this.
you.
And I'm going to clear my throat, Holly. So if you're listening, just tune out for 2 seconds.
Oh,
Okay.
very kind.
Yeah, you know, do my best. All right, number 1. This American actor and singer, whose talent is sought by both Disney and DC, sometimes gets tangled between childhood and adulthood, while occasionally working at Buy More as a tech whiz and CIA asset.
Could you repeat it?
Wait, do we need to hear your cacaws?
Oh, yeah. Hold on. Call.
Caw.
Okay.
Okay. This American actor and singer, whose talent is sought by both Disney and DC, sometimes gets tangled between childhood and adulthood, while occasionally working at Buy More as a tech whiz and CIA asset.
So I've never seen Tangled,
I have not either.
but I'm sure that I've seen the DC property.
I think you have.
Actor and singer.
Yeah, but if you haven't seen Tangled, I don't think the singer's going to help you.
Okay, I have not seen Tangled.
Although he did have some Broadway work, but I don't know if that would help either of you. There's
not-
clues for both the Disney and the DC.
Yeah, is it the Flash?
No.
It's not. What's the last part of the riddle for the?
Occasionally working at Buy More as a tech whiz and CIA asset.
I have no idea. I don't know.
Yeah.
Was this one of the easy ones?
I mean, I guess if you've seen the show he was on.
I don't think
This
it's
is
a bad
also
riddle.
not
I
on
just
your.
don't-
No, it's not a bad riddle. It's just I've never seen Tangled, and I'm
Well, okay, so
I'm
hold on.
as an FBI
CIA.
CIA.
CIA asset.
All right, so hold on. This American actor and singer whose talent is sought by both Disney and DC sometimes gets tangled between childhood and adulthood, while occasionally working at Buy More as a tech whiz and CIA asset. Like, I feel like the between childhood and adulthood is the way you want to go.
Oh, Zachary Levi.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Excellent. Very good. Of
And
course. Shazam.
Tangled, he was Flynn
Oh,
Rider
okay.
in Tangled.
I think I know who it is.
He was Chuck, and
Oh,
that's the Buy More
okay.
CIA asset one.
That's a good one.
Hey, thanks. How old?
I've been told by my friend Chad that Tangled is a very good.
It's a fantastic
Very
movie.
good
Yeah,
movie.
very good movie.
Yeah.
Like, probably one of my favorites.
Okay.
So he was Chuck and Chuck.
Yes, he was Chuck.
Connor would have got that.
I was going to say, I think Connor's a Chuck guy.
Connor has all of Chuck on DVD.
Does he listen?
I think he does occasionally.
Yeah, once in a while.
So he was probably screaming if he heard that.
Connor loves Chuck.
All right. How old is he today?
Connor probably watched Burn Notice too.
He definitely worked for Notice.
I'm the only one in this damn office that's seen Burn Notice.
Zachary Levi is. I'm gonna say he's 39 years old.
I'm going to say 45.
He is 41 years old.
I was also going to say 42.
Oh, well,
well,
that's
you
one.
didn't.
Also wrong.
Also wrong, so it doesn't really matter.
No.
All right. So, do I keep the notes?
Yeah, if
Yeah,
you wanna
you
keep-
can, or we
if you
can
wanna
get them.
keep
But
score.
I'll just have Adam watch the episodes and keep get them as well. But you can keep them as well. We just won't give them to
Well, we're
Adam.
constantly being mean about Adam on this. We're going to make him listen to these.
Well, he should be listening anyway, and I think
should.
he did.
All right. Next one. This former warrior used to bring the thunder before heading across a famous bridge to stand tall while hitting nothing but net.
Nets. So I want to say it's Caw.
Oh, okay.
It's
I know, we didn't call it the last one.
You didn't.
Edgerton.
No.
No. I'm thinking Warrior, the movie.
Yeah.
It's either him or I don't think
It's not Tom Hardy.
I
We
mean,
had him
I
recently.
didn't say it was a movie.
Yeah, I'm thinking Warrior like
Can you repeat it, Justine?
Mm-hmm. This former warrior used to bring the thunder before heading across a famous bridge to stand tall while hitting nothing but net.
Oh, it's a Caw. Mm-hmm. It's Kevin Durant.
Mm-hmm. It's Kevin Durant.
Warriors.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, I was
From the Thunder to the Warriors, now to the Nets.
very, very good.
That was good. Yeah, that was good. It doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be TV or movie.
That was
so I
the
like
one
No.
that I read Jeff, and I was like, and he got that one.
Oh, I was just thinking, my mind was on movies and TV.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yeah,
cool.
these aren't
Yes.
all actors and actresses.
Okay.
Because there wasn't a very deep actor-actress bench today. All right, how old is he?
Ooh. 33.
I'm going to say 32.
He is 33 years old.
Oh, well
First
done.
birthday of the day.
Nice job.
I forgot that I had that, and I'm going to use it now.
I was just waiting for Ryan to finish.
Oh, thank you. I'm ready.
All right, ready?
Yep.
Goodness gracious! This American singer, songwriter, and pianist
Caw.
is quite the killer that will leave you breathless while Maverick and Goose are rocking out.
Is it Little Richard?
No,
Coco. Mm-hmm. Kenny Loggins.
no.
Can you repeat?
Goodness gracious! This American singer, songwriter, and pianist is quite the killer that will leave you breathless while Maverick and Goose are rocking out.
Oh, I have it. Caw.
Mm-hmm.
Bob Seger.
No.
Why
Do you,
can't
do you guys know, like, a song that I'm referring to?
Great Balls of Fire?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, who sings it?
See, I thought it was Little Richard.
Roy.
No. I'm just gonna stop you right there.
Just one.
It's Roy from Siegfried, right? No. Oh, I know who. Why can't I think of it? Goodness gracious. So he killer. So I think he doesn't have the same. It's like 3 names, and one of them is like a famous serial killer.
No.
Oh, is it?
He has 3 names.
He has 3 names, yes.
Yeah,
that's correct.
but it's not the same.
It's not a serial killer. I mean, not that I know of.
It's.
I can picture.
Yeah, I'm gonna know it as soon as you say it. This is. Lindy's uncle tells us a story about when he was in college. He used to sing this song and jam on the piano, but he can't play piano and get drunk and.
So just like.
Yeah, just.
I'm not gonna think of it.
All right, it's Jerry Lee Lewis.
God
Yeah,
damn it!
fuck.
How old is Jerry Lee Lewis?
Good, Ryan.
Jerry Lee Lewis is 85.
He is 79.
He is 86.
Ah, man, I can't believe I didn't get that.
Also, I'm not going to wish him a happy birthday because apparently he's a super creep. He married his 13-year-old cousin at one point, and it like totally derailed his career.
At what time? I mean, it doesn't matter. But
I think like back when he was famous. I just seen it like on the Wikipedia page, and I was like, "Is this true?" And I like confirmed it through other sources.
Why was he not arrested for that? That has to be
don't,
illegal.
I don't know.
maybe he lived in the right place.
Yeah,
That's true.
Maybe.
Sicko. Not happy birthday.
No.
Glad I didn't get him.
An unhappy
Yeah.
birthday. In fact,
Very unhappy birthday.
like Alice in Wonderland.
All right, next one. This Englishman could be sporting a black beard, hail from Deadwood, or be an American god.
Oh,
But lately, he spends his time as a Continental Hotel manager that hangs out with Keanu Reeves.
that is Ian McShane.
That is Ian McShane.
Love him. One of my favorite. Game of Thrones. The season that he was in was also the season that the Hound returned, and I love that.
Oh, is he like the
He was
priest or
Ray,
whatever,
yeah,
or-
brother Ray or
The guy
whatever.
was,
He
like,
was the one
talking
they hung him from the thing, and then the Hound snapped. He's like, you don't touch Ian McShane. He was also in the Pirates movies,
Yeah, that's a black dude.
pirate movie. Yeah.
Very good actor.
How old is Ian McShane today?
74.
I'm gonna say 65.
He is 79 years old.
Wow.
Good for him.
Good for him.
79.
I've never seen Deadwood. Is it good?
I haven't seen it either. It's
I watched like the
apparently
first season and a half.
My dad's a big fan.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
It's a lot. You gotta really carve out some time to
It's an
watch it.
HBO show, right?
Yeah.
That's my list.
good. All right, next one. This stand-up funny man has been in business since the 80s. Whether he's selling out Madison Square Garden, hanging out with an entourage, or parenting a star that was born, he always likes to roll the dice.
Caw? Andrew Dice Clay?
Andrew Dice Clay.
Right. I forgot he was in A Star Is Born. We just did a whole Saturday, Blind Mike from the Blind Mike Project. He came in and he's doing a new podcast called Why Are You Laughing, which is basically a deep dive on different comedians' lives or like lives and like things that happen in their life. So we did one on Norm Macdonald when he left SNL, when he was fired. And we also did a whole episode on Andrew Dice Clay.
Oh, really?
The day the laughter died.
So you should have gotten that.
I should have. Yeah.
It seems like he would be fresh in your mind.
Yeah, he was.
I'm gonna say Andrew Dice Clay is 63 years old.
Dice is 68.
He is 64.
What did you say?
63.
Damn.
Very close.
I feel like I should get that.
All right, so these last two are deceased.
No.
Rest in peace.
Yeah, rest in peace. Both great. Okay,
Same
this
for triplets.
Is one of them her?
no.
Okay.
All right. This Broadway darling and Mel Brooks' favorite had an extensive TV, theater, and film career. Whether she's riding a blazing saddle, marrying Frankenstein, dancing by a paper moon, or solving a mystery somewhere out there, she can do it all while also dealing with the flames on the side of her face.
Call. It's the Bride of Frankenstein, right from Young Frankenstein. I know. Well,
Yeah, but
that's
she's
I
got
don't
a
know. Her
name.
I know. I don't know. I don't have her name. But I figured I'd shoot her a character in for half point if Ryan can't get it.
I don't know.
Do you want me to read it again?
Yeah, I'm not good. I'm not gonna be good today.
I don't want to be around it.
Yeah, I just can't. I don't know.
It is Madeline Kahn.
Yeah, I wouldn't have got that.
She's in so many things.
She was a.
And I stuck in an American Tail reference in there, too. Because she was the voice of one of the mice in American Tail.
Very good.
The really rich one.
Okay.
All right, so how old... So she passed away. How old would she be today?
Okay.
I'm going to say she's going to be 93. She would have been today.
I'm gonna say 94.
She would have been 79. She
Wow.
passed away at 57,
Oh,
unfortunately.
that's sad.
I believe from cancer, which is upsetting.
Very sad.
Love her. All right, last one. Also deceased. This singing cowboy is the only entertainer to have stars awarded in all 5 categories on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. In addition to hosting his own TV series and having Oklahoma towns and California streets named after him, this former Angels owner also loved Christmas music.
I don't know. Former Angels owner?
I don't know. I don't know.
Do you want me to say it again?
Yes,
Yeah.
one more time.
This singing cowboy is the only entertainer to have stars awarded in all 5 categories on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. In addition to hosting his own TV series and having Oklahoma towns and California streets named after him, this former Angels owner also loved Christmas music.
Kenny Rogers?
It's not.
I don't know. I can't think. I cannot think today.
You drunk already?
No, I just
These truly lemonades are going down now.
They're very good.
can't focus.
Not a sponsor. I mean, I don't know. Singing cowboy. I don't know.
It is Gene Autry.
Didn't know that.
No.
I didn't know about the him being the only one to have all 5 categories.
What about him was singing cowboy? Like what
That was
type of
his
stuff
like.
was
That's
he
what they
in?
called him because like he was like a. Like,
Is he in Oklahoma?
He was like a rodeo, like had like a TV series. He was like a rodeo clown. He was like sang country music. Like he was a big,
Yeah.
like country. And then he's got like streets and towns named after him. And he sings a bunch of Christmas music. He has like a Christmas music.
Was he owner of the Angels?
Yeah, at one point.
Like the baseball team? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a Renaissance man.
Or actual angels.
Yeah.
I didn't know if it was Angels in the outfield.
How old would he be today?
Oh God. I would say 115 years old.
I'm gonna say 88.
Okay, you were very close. He would have been 114 years old today.
Holy
Wow.
shit!
Imagine if you got that
Wow.
one. He died in 1998 at 91 years old.
Oh.
It's tough because when you get above that, it's like I'm just gonna throw out
Yeah.
It sounds like
fives
a
and
fake
zeros.
number. Yeah.
So,
All right, and that's it.
Hey, well done,
Very
Justine.
good.
Hey, thanks,
That's
guys.
it for this episode's edition of Celebrity Birthdays.
Who was it? Who was it? And now a word from our sponsor.
No sponsor today, but very good. Those are very good riddles.
Well thought out.
Yeah,
Thanks,
Appreciate
guys.
that.
definitely.
Did my best.
All right, do we get right into the draft?
I think we do.
All right. First things first. Smaller names this week because Justine had a problem with the large names
They were
last
just
week.
really big.
Well,
It was like the size
Do I get to
of
pick again?
it. Yeah.
Just because I'm right here?
Be weird for me to reach.
All right, this is.
Is it Matt? Yeah. Of course it is.
What the hell's going on?
I
Matt?
promise.
I mean, there is a 1 in 3 chance.
Yeah.
I'm wasting all my luck on this draft and not fantasy
Ryan.
football.
Matt and Ryan.
Yeah.
Then me.
So this is your worst nightmare.
I know. I'm just like,
But you
Yeah,
do get two
but you
back
get
to
two
back.
picks.
I get 2 picks. Yeah. So if you guys don't pick my top 2 picks,
So we're going like this.
oh,
Yep.
Okay. Love it. Actually, that would always work.
Yes.
yeah.
No matter what.
Actually, when
There's
you,
only
guys,
three.
when you guys were saying that you're out of order, I was thinking about it the other day because like, how? Like you could always go.
It would never not work.
Oh God. Okay. So I'm starting it off.
Thank God we're in order.
I'm gonna take one off the board. It's a recent one, very good, and I'm very excited for the sequel. It is Knives Out.
I know.
Yeah.
That was what I had. At number
Because
one.
it's so I think that was gonna be. It was so good. I'm very excited for the sequel. It's all new people, right?
Yeah,
So
I think
gonna
it's
be
just. I think Daniel Craig's the only one that
right.
follows through. Do you want to talk about the plot?
Yeah. So I mean, essentially, Christopher Plummer dies. Right, Christopher Plummer.
Yep.
And the whole the family and like the immediate family and like spouses and stuff are kept in this like old house, which is like a very good like, you know, remnant of like Clue and things like that kind of look. And it's a whodunit. It's a classic whodunit. Daniel Craig, what's his character name?
Benoit Blanc.
Benoit
But
Blanc.
wall blanc.
Fantastic accent. He's interviewing the family and trying to figure out what happens, and it gave a genuine. One of the reasons why I like it is it gave a genuine like misdirection. Like you really think it's one thing, and it gives you something that you didn't think about at all before at all.
And it gave everyone a good, I guess, reason to be
Yeah.
a suspect. It didn't, it didn't feel.
And it was
like a
super
stretch?
funny.
Yes.
Yeah,
Great cast. Like awesome cast.
yeah. Tony Collette, Michael Shannon, Daniel Craig,
Jamie
Chris
Lee
Evans,
Curtis,
Anna de Armas,
Jamie. Yep, Andy Armas.
Keith Stanfield.
Lakeith Stanfield,
Did we say Chris Evans?
We did.
Don
Chris
Johnson.
Evans.
Did we
Yep,
say
Don Johnson.
Yes.
And who's he's from Get Out. I always forget his name. He was in not Black Klansman. The one with Daniel Kaluuya that just came out.
Oh, the Black Panther. Yeah, Lakeith Stanfield.
Oh, yeah, we
He's-
said him.
Oh, you said
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, he's awesome. Great movie.
Yeah, very
first
exciting.
pick.
Yeah, that
I knew it was going first. That's why I had it as my note. I'm like,
it's
this
definitely
is
the
one.
best like whodunit murder mystery of the recent years.
And it
so.
follows like my favorite formula, which is this: there are all these people together. This is a house of suspects. Someone died. Who did it? Like it's the classic whodunit. And then there's a detective at the end who wraps it all up. It's that classic like Agatha Christie type like
yeah.
vibe.
And that house is just like a perfect setting
Mm-hmm.
for everything.
And I love Chris Evans being like a jerk in it.
Yes.
Because you're so used to seeing him as like,
Yeah.
stand up Captain America.
It's like not another teen movie, Chris Evans.
Okay.
He played the he played the cocky jock.
I don't think I ever saw another teen movie.
Well, you're missing out.
It's a good one. Yeah, it's a good one.
The first time it's come up
I don't
in my
get to
life.
reference that a lot. Can't take
I
advantage
can
of it.
tell you were waiting for that.
I was.
Was that the joke? You
No, it's coming. All right. So my pick, I'm going to go with The Usual Suspects.
Okay.
5 criminals meet during a routine police lineup. Upon their release, they plan to pull off a dangerous heist involving precious emeralds worth $3 million. Like a little, it's like this is like a very gritty, not I guess so much of a whodunit, but I don't know. I do like it as kind of like a traditional murder mystery with like a lot of violence. Obviously, you have this mysterious Kaiser Soze character that's the kind of drives the plot moving forward.
I think a lot of these movies, and this one definitely included, is it was ruined for me before I saw it.
That's, yeah.
And it's one of those movies that, like, once you know who it is, and we won't give it away
Yeah.
here, but once you know who that person is, then it really is the because it would, you think about like, oh man, if I didn't know that it was
Yeah,
that person,
it would be.
Yeah.
But it's also spoofed so much in like popular culture that by the time you see it,
Yeah.
you're like, oh, I know what's going to happen at this exact
Family
part.
Guy has done it. Simpsons have done it.
That happened to me with the Johnny Depp movie. Like, was it Secret Window or?
Yeah, Secret Window.
Yeah. Well, I feel like that type of movie has been done so many times that you almost knew how it was going to end before it ended.
It's kind of like how Fam thought that the Spelling Bee movie was.
Yeah. And then you're watching a normal movie and you start second guessing. Like,
Yeah, everything.
You ever seen that Bad Words with Jason
I
Bateman?
haven't, but I know like what happened.
You know, okay, yeah.
It's the child is real. He's not dead.
Just imaginary
Yeah.
friend.
Well,
But-
what if you just spoiled it for all of our listeners who are looking to
that
watch?
R-rated comedy with the dead kid. Great cast though. You have Gabriel Byrne, Chaz Palminteri, Kevin Pollak, Giancarlo Esposito is in this, And I know I'm going to catch a lot of flack for saying this, but Benicio del Toro is great in The Usual Suspects. I'm just kidding.
I was going to say, why would you?
A lot of people probably can't watch it now because of Kevin Spacey, which, I mean, I feel like I could probably still watch it and be okay with it.
Yeah,
Not that I agree with
He was
Kevin
in so
Spacey,
many
but
good movies, so it
He
really
was.
sucks that he had to turn out to be
such a terrible person. But one of my favorite murder mysteries, a movie came out in 1995, but still holds up, still really good. So that's my first round pick.
Okay. All right.
Justine, you got 2.
I'm so excited. Okay, so quintessential murder mystery, Clue. When was the last time you guys watched Clue?
It's been a while.
It's been a very, very long time.
It's such a good movie. It's so funny, very campy, but like very, very funny. And like, so for the plot, 6 guests are anonymously invited to a strange mansion for dinner. After their host is killed, they've got to cooperate with the staff to try and identify the murderer as the bodies pile up. And obviously based on the board game, which is my favorite board game. Tim Curry as Wadsworth is probably like the best role of Tim Curry's career. He's so good in that movie.
I haven't seen it in a very long time, and that's one of the few things that really stands out is Tim Curry's performance in Clue.
Oh, so good. Aileen Brennan, Leslie Ann Warren, Madeline Kahn, this was the quote with the flames on the side of my face that I used in the thing. And I was like, am I going to give this up? But I guess you guys didn't know.
I don't remember.
Christopher Lloyd, Michael McKean, Martin Mull, and Colin Camp. And it's really cool because at the end of it, I don't know if you guys remember it very well, but there's 3 different endings.
Yeah.
So then they'll say like, oh, but maybe this happened. And then they'll say this is really happened. And apparently when it came out in theaters, each theater was shown a different ending. So you didn't know, like you weren't shown all 3 in the theater. So if you saw it at one place and I saw it at another, we might have both thought someone totally different did it.
That's
which was
very
really
interesting.
cool. Especially because like it's just like the board game, like when you make a guess and it's like, oh, this isn't right. You have to make it up.
Yeah.
The board game is so underrated.
It's so good.
As a board
Yeah.
game. It's very simple, but it has ultimate replayability, and it takes a little thinking. It's not
And I
get
love
hammered and play game.
I love like a one setting murder mystery. Like you're in this house the whole time. Like you
Yeah.
don't leave. This is where you go. Like you're kind of trapped.
Yeah.
Kind of adds to that vibe.
Knives Out has that.
Yep.
For the most part.
Well, like the house is like its own character.
Siskel and Ebert over here.
Yeah, right? Look at this.
Fogarty, Siskel, and Ebert.
All right, so that is my first pick.
Good pick.
My second pick, Matt made me nervous when he said he had some old ones. So I'm going to go with my favorite Hitchcock movie, which is Rear Window.
Yep. That's one of mine.
Was it?
Of Secret
Yep.
Window.
All right. Speaking of Secret Window, Rear Window is such a good movie. I think it's his best movie. I know people like Vertigo, and Psycho, but I think Rear Window is the best. So the whole plot is that this photographer breaks his leg. He's wheelchair bound, and it takes place in like the 50s. So there's no, it's not, you don't have like a phone or a computer or TV or anything like that.
Which makes it all the more like tense.
Yeah. And he spends his time just like spying on his neighbors. He lives in like a New York City apartment building, and so his like window looks out into like a courtyard. So there's a few other buildings like behind him, so he can see into like people's like windows and their rooms. And he thinks he sees a murder. He thinks he sees like a man kill his wife. So he becomes convinced he's a murderer. I mean, it's all circumstantial stuff that he sees. Like he sees them, like he hears a scream, he sees them dragging a body, like not a body, like a big bag. And so he's convinced he's a murderer. It's James Stewart and Grace Kelly is in it. She plays like his girlfriend who he kind of like ropes into this theory. The whole thing, once again, takes place in this apartment. So it's just them, it's just him looking out the window or it's like in his apartment. So it just kind of adds to that feeling like he's stuck in a wheelchair. He can't do anything. And then I read that all of the sound in this movie is diegetic, which means that all music, speech, and other sounds all come from within the world of the movie.
Yeah.
So any music playing, it's because someone in the courtyard's playing music, or like there's no like background stuff, which kind of adds
That's
a
pretty
lot
cool.
to it. Yeah.
Yeah, that adds to the creepiness. Alfred Hitchcock, like his movies, like the way he uses, like the way he can make the audience feel very tense. It can't be overstated. He's very good, and even
Yeah.
like people will write off Hitchcock because like they're old movies. Like they'll instantly write them
so
off.
good.
They're so good, and they play even today.
Yeah.
Like the Shia LaBeouf movie, and the name is
Disturbia.
escaping me, is basically a ripoff of a Rear Window.
Yeah.
Like the reason, like so you switch a wheelchair for an ankle monitor, right? He was like at home arrest, and he's like checking out his neighbor. It is used again and again, but Hitchcock was the original and the master of the whole thing.
Yeah. And like no one believes him. Like he's got a cop friend who doesn't believe him.
Yeah.
He ropes his like masseuse into it. Like so it's like the three of them like trying to like figure out how this guy killed his wife.
That's another one I haven't seen in a while. Good.
It's really good.
Did you ever watch the My bedtime. Did you ever watch the documentary on Hulu it's like on Hitchcock on Psycho, like on
the
how
shower?
the shower scene.
Yeah.
You told me about it. I haven't seen it.
Very cool. It just kind of delves into like how he would film stuff, like how they would use music, use certain shots, and it's just like all basically to make you feel as uncomfortable as possible.
Yeah, and it does. It really adds to like you're watching it and you're like, why am I so invested? Especially because it's such an old movie. Like you would think that you wouldn't be as like invested in it, but great movie.
Nice pick.
Very good.
All right. So, for my second round pick, I'm going to go with a newer movie, but it does stay true to kind of the one setting murder mystery, which I feel like makes the movies that much better. And it's Bad Times at the El Royale. This was a 2018 movie, great cast. Plot: the El Royale is a rundown hotel that sits on the border between California and Nevada. It soon becomes a seedy battleground when 7 strangers, a cleric, a soul singer, a traveling salesman, 2 sisters, the manager, and the mysterious Billy Lee converge on a fateful night for one last shot at redemption before everything goes wrong. And these type of movies, I feel like are, you can make or break them with your casting. And this movie did a great job with the casting. You have Dakota Johnson, Cynthia Erivo, Chris Hemsworth is great in it, Jeff Bridges, John Hamm, Nick Offerman, Manny Jacinto, who would go on to play in The Good Place, Jim O'Heir. Just a great movie.
Yeah.
Great murder mystery. A lot of great characters, but I do love, like, the El Royale. It's like a seedy hotel motel. So a lot of it takes place in, like, the big lobby, but then there's a lot of other scenes that take place in actual guest rooms as well. So you're staying on location, but it's very, very good.
It?
Yeah.
No.
No.
I haven't seen
I won't
It's
go.
really good.
I won't go too deep into it.
It was also on my list as like a backup, and I read that it was based on the famous Cal Neva Resort and Casino that was once owned by Frank Sinatra, which kind of makes sense with all like the celebrity stuff.
Yeah, that does. Yeah, because it's like in between California and Nevada. Mm-hmm. So that makes
And then
sense.
I also read that there was no pre-recorded soundtrack, so all of Cynthia Erivo's singing in the film is real, and she's just like fantastic.
Did she play? She plays someone. Some like famous singer she just played.
I think she just did
Was it
like
Aretha Franklin?
but there were
Okay.
2 because Jennifer Hudson also just did
Yes.
Aretha, but I think hers was like what's that show, like that Genius show or whatever, and I think hers was like a show about Aretha Franklin.
Okay,
But she's a fantastic singer. She's
she's really good in that.
I think she's got a Tony. I think she won a Tony Award for The Color Purple when she was on Broadway. But she's really good, and she was in a lot like around this time.
Yeah,
I think she was in Widows.
Widows.
And then there was something else I was thinking of that she was in. But I really enjoy her.
She was in The Outsider, but that was a little later.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
And she was also Harriet Tubman in Harriet. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do. She's a fantastic
Yeah.
actress. She was really good. I mean, everyone in it was cast pretty perfectly.
Yeah.
I love Chris Hemsworth and John Hamm in it,
Yeah.
obviously.
And Chris Hemsworth in this movie is based on like Charles Manson, like the vibe that he
Yeah.
is giving. So you got that kind of.
It's like that creepy but yet charismatic, culty man. Mm-hmm. But very, very, you would enjoy it. And I don't want, it's actually almost kind of like, not impossible to give it away, but like so much happens.
Yeah.
And there's just like so many important characters and so many twists and turns that
I heard good things.
you'll enjoy it. It's a very good movie.
Okay.
So I'm going with Bad Times at Del Royale.
Very good. I'm coming back around with a classic for sure. And about this time of year, it comes up more. I'll read the synopsis. I'll see if you guys can get it.
Okay.
A year after the murder of her mother,
Yep,
a
on my
teenage
list.
girl is terrorized by a new killer who targets the girl and her friends by using horror films as part of a deadly game, which of course is Scream. A classic horror slasher film. Wes Craven directed. Nev Campbell, David Arquette.
Courtney Cox.
Yeah, Courtney Cox,
But also a very good murder mystery because
Drew Barrymore.
it's not just like a regular slasher film. Like there is like who killed her mother and who did that. Like there's a mystery there.
It holds up for sure. And this is another one that you don't want to have spoiled because it really
No.
just ruins
Yes.
the entire thing. Great movie. The sequels and the successors to it, not so much.
Not
But
great.
the original did it the best. And there's also one coming out in 2022, which I got to be honest with you. Halloween, the new Halloweens, the ones that came out, the one that Halloween Kills, or Halloween Kills is the new one, the one that came out with Jamie Lee Curtis recently. There's like they took the first one and then they jumped it to this one. They just forgot about all the other sequels. It was really good. So maybe they can maybe do it a little bit better. But the original Scream is perfect. One from 1996. Great.
And I feel like from there, that's when you got like, well, I Know What You Did Last Summer, and because Scream was so popular. Was those
I'm
after
trying to
Scream?
remember. Was that, Justine, do you know that? If I know
I don't remember. I know they were kind of like all around the same time because
But I feel like Scream was the one that stood out and was like
Scream
a good
is
movie,
really
but
good.
was also really
the
popular.
whole first scene
Yeah,
of
you're
Scream.
right. 2001. Yeah. No.
I Know What You
No,
Did Last
that's-
Summer? No.
2021, there's apparently an Amazon show coming.
I don't think that's when
Anyway.
the movie came out.
The whole first
97.
scene of Scream
Yeah.
is fantastic.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like and kind of unexpected, like very unexpected considering.
Well, and wasn't Drew Barrymore like a very
Yeah, she was
pop?
Yeah.
So like you're like, oh, okay, she's gonna be
Yeah,
like the
so
main
you're
star
like,
of the
all
movie,
right.
and then it's like, oh no, she's not. Holly and I think we watched that last year, like last.
I think I usually
Halloween
watch
season.
it every time.
Yeah, it's really good. Great movie, great pick.
Yeah, Matthew Lillard
Love
was
him.
on it.
Summer
and then-
Catch.
Oh my God, what is her name? The one who had
Nev Campbell.
Rose McGowan.
Oh.
Sorry, Holly. I'm joking. Okay. And then I'm coming back around for my second pick. I'm not going to go with the old one that I was going to pick. I'm going to go with the semi-recent. It is going to be a Ben Affleck movie. It's Gone Girl,
Ooh, good pick.
which is, in recent memory, one of the, I can remember, like gasping many times during that movie. Like, totally tremendous. Like,
Clutching your pearls.
Yeah. I mean, the scene with Neil Patrick Harris
Yes.
is just a wild scene. Like, Ben Affleck just can't get out of his own way as Nick.
Do you want to say the plot?
What?
Do you want to say the plot?
I'll say the plot. It's based on the book of the same name. With his wife's disappearance having become the focus of an intense media circus, a man sees the spotlight turned on him when it's suspected that he might not be innocent. That's like the classic. Like I listen to a lot of murder mystery podcasts, and everybody always says like the first person you look at when something like this goes, like when your wife is killed or she goes missing, your significant.
The husband.
You look at your significant other.
Right.
That's usually the first suspect. So in this movie, obviously, I mean, I don't want to give anything away.
No,
if you
no.
haven't seen Gone Girl, I can't really say much. But that is essentially what happens to, what is his name? Nick. It's
Nick
a David
Dunn.
Fincher. It's a fucking fantastic movie if you haven't seen it. Nick Dunn.
Done. Isn't it done?
Done? I don't know. Done.
think it's
I got
Dunn.
Dune on the brain.
Dun 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 dun.
Nick Dunn, and he just like does everything that you shouldn't be doing when your wife is missing, and it's so infuriating. And then also the Rosamund Pike.
Rosamund Pike.
Yes. How do you say her name?
Rosamund?
Rosamund.
I think so.
Yeah, it's
Rosamund Pike.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's great.
She is
Yeah,
great.
she's awesome in it.
I actually love this movie. Well, I loved the book, so I knew I was going to like the movie. And I like Ben Affleck in this movie. That might surprise you. Because
does surprise
probably
me.
because you're not supposed to like him. Like he's supposed to be like
So it's just easy. That's
good, like,
Justine's
dirtbag.
default.
yeah.
Hate.
So I thought he played it very well because I'm like, yeah, this actually is a good role for him.
He didn't try to play it like Ben Affleck. I feel like he tried
No,
to
he
play it like
didn't.
the characters. Right.
But then again, I mean, David Fincher just brings out the best in his people. So
he does.
maybe he just needs to do more movies with him, and I'll like him.
Also,
But
it's
this
kind
book, I remember reading this book, and I didn't like halfway through. I was like, it's kind of dragging, and people were like, no, keep reading. And then when you hit like that point, you're like, all right, yeah, I'm done with this book in like an hour.
it's surprisingly like I don't know if I want to say funny, but like surprisingly light for like the subject matter to me.
Mm-hmm.
Like just maybe it's because of how I think that Rosamund Pike, like she plays those characters very well.
Mm-hmm.
Well, as soon as you also it gives you a little bit of relief. Like the middle
When you
part
know
of the movie,
she's- yeah.
when you know
Oh,
what's, I mean, it's when you know that she's not.
Don't say anything.
Well, it's an old movie. I mean, if you haven't seen it by now,
I'm not going to.
I mean, I wouldn't call it old
2014, but when you
if we're not spoiling the end of The Usual Suspects.
starts-
if it was
heavy.
a movie, it could drive a car. No.
No, good. That would be a very dangerous 8-year-old, right? 8.
Yeah, 7. It's been through a lot.
Yeah, it's just good. Yeah, I know what you mean. I know what you mean though, because you're like fucking Ben Affleck. You're an idiot.
right.
What?
But it is, yeah. Great pick. Good movie.
Yeah.
Sweet Fincher.
So that's
Very
it. Those
good
are
movie.
my back to backs.
Okay. My next pick is going to be got my notes. A classic. It is the 1974 Murder on the Orient Express.
Yeah.
Ooh,
They
good pick.
recently did a remake of this, which wasn't bad, but I think the old one's better. I feel like they added unnecessary stuff in the new one that I would just didn't care for. The plot is in December 1935, when the Orient Express is stopped by deep snow, Detective Hercule Poirot is called on to solve the murder that occurred in the car the night before. It's based on probably Agatha Christie's most famous book, I would say. It's one of my favorite books, maybe my favorite book of hers. This is like Hercule Poirot is like a detective she has like in a ton of books, so he's got like just so many books under his name. He's just like a famous Belgian detective, and he always happens to be in a place where there's a murder. Classic. The classic story. This is a great cast: Albert Finney, Lauren Bacall, Ingrid Bergman, who I believe won an Oscar for this movie. Sean Connery, Anthony Perkins, Vanessa Redgrave, Richard Widmark. Like crazy cast. Like everyone like early in their careers, just great. It was nominated for 6 Oscars. It was inspired by the Lindbergh baby kidnapping, because that's like a main plot point in this. I don't know if you guys have seen it, like the original version or even the new version.
No, I haven't seen the
very
original,
good.
the new one either.
And the whole thing, like I really like the old version because like they're stuck on this train and the whole thing takes place once again. Like I like the claustrophobia, I guess, inside this one train. So like they can't leave because they're stuck in the snow. The newer one, like they go outside, and I'm like, well, this doesn't do much for me. This was apparently the only movie adaptation that in her lifetime for which Christie was completely satisfied. But it's a great movie. I mean, once again, like this has a big thing at the end that you probably know what happens because it's been used a lot.
Right.
But like she kind of originated it. She was great. Her stories were great, and I really enjoyed this movie.
Good pick.
That's what I watch a lot in the winter.
Nice murder on a train.
Nice murder on a train, stuck in the snow.
You can't put on Miracle on 34th Street.
No.
No, it's Murder on the Orient Express. Fair enough.
Nice dark murder.
Yeah. My next pick is a little movie called Kiss Kiss Bang Bang.
I got skipped again.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did. I've only given 2 picks.
You just said you told me to
Ryan
go.
gets 2 Wait, hold on.
No, because it should have went to me after you.
Oh, then didn't you just tell me to go?
Did we fuck this up?
I didn't tell you. No. I mean, I'll go eventually. So it's.
You wanna go right now?
You can do yours, and I'll do 2.
Okay. All right. Then you'll do two. That makes
Yeah.
sense. All right. Well, is this on your list? Kiss Kiss Bang Bang?
No.
Okay. So I wasn't taking it from you.
No, you got it. That's yours.
I love this movie. It's one of my favorite movies. A murder mystery brings together a private eye, a struggling actress, and a thief masquerading as an actor. Robert Downey Jr., Val Kilmer, Michelle Monaghan. It's directed and written by Shane Black. Have you ever seen this movie?
No, have not seen it.
It's really good. And it's like the start of like the Robert Downey Jr. like
Renaissance?
Yeah.
Yeah.
His Renaissance. Like apparently his performance in this was what made Jon Favreau want to cast him as Iron Man, because it's like that quippy, like before he was Iron Man. Like it's like a big like Raymond Chandler influence. Like, sorry, distracted by Ryan grabbing a drink. Just like a fun like LA. It's like set in LA. It's like this LA mystery. You know, everyone's at a party. Someone ends up like getting killed, and they get kind of wrapped up into the whole plot. And very, very good movie.
This is right. So it's 2005. So it's 3 years before Iron Man, but
Yeah.
really probably just like less than a year before they probably selected him to be Iron Man. It's very cool.
Yeah, it's a really, really good movie. I highly recommend it. It's very, very funny.
I'm a big fan.
And it's like that
Kiss,
dark.
Bang, Bang.
It's like a dark comedy. Yeah. All right, sorry, Ryan. You go.
No, that's okay.
You go twice.
Actually, this is a perfect segue because my next pick is also a Shane Black directed movie.
I have it on here. I
Yeah.
was like, Ryan's gonna pick this one.
One of my favorite movies and one of my favorite duos that you wouldn't necessarily think of until they actually came together, and now you're like, I just want to watch these two together all the time. It is 2016's The Nice Guys.
Yeah.
The plot is Holland March, played by Ryan Gosling, is a down-on-his-luck private eye in 1977 Los Angeles. Jackson Healy, great character name, played by Russell Crowe, is a hired enforcer who hurts people for a living. Fate turns them into unlikely partners after a young woman named Amelia, played by Margaret Qualley, mysteriously disappears. And then the plot is off and running. So not like a single setting murder mystery. Obviously, they're all over. But 1977 Los Angeles is a really cool like time frame for a movie.
The music alone, really.
The music is great. Like I love like the handlebar mustache and like the just like the outfits, like 70s.
Who has
wardrobe.
a handlebar mustache?
Doesn't Ryan Gosling have a?
Oh, he's got a mustache. I don't know if it's a handlebar mustache.
I know what you meant. Not yet.
No, it's just a normal mustache. But
A mustache.
Handlebar mustache is like
not handlebar.
like an old
horseshoe,
West
whatever.
bartender.
Upside down horseshoe. Yeah.
The Fu Manchu.
Yeah, it's kind of it goes past the middle of the lip, but Ryan Gosling and Russell Crowe are fantastic in it. Margaret Qualley is very good in it. It's just a great movie. On the lighter side of some murder mysteries, but I feel like the best, well, at least the ones that I like the best, like the Knives Out. I guess Gone Girl would be on the spectrum for this one, but Knives Out and The Nice Guys, like the plot moves along so briskly, I think, because it's kind of funny, and you have people who can do like comedic drama really well, like Ryan Gosling. His character is hysterical in it.
Yeah.
Because he's just he's kind of useless, but he comes through at the end, I guess.
Speaking meta about it, it's like this is a great, an unlikely pairing.
Yes.
Russell Crowe and
they were,
Ryan
when
Gosling.
we did the draft way back when, of like people you'd want to see in a movie again, I think they were one of our picks. I don't know who picked it.
I know that's called for a lot as a sequel to that movie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was really good. The girl, did you already mention her? The one that plays the daughter?
I did not.
She was in Mayor of Easttown. She was really good too.
Oh, okay, that's where I knew her from. Okay.
I don't know how to pronounce her first name. Angeri or Angry
Angry?
Rice?
Yeah.
And then Kim Basinger is also in this. She's in
Matt Bomer.
Oh, I love Matt Bomer.
Yes.
But
He's very
like a Kim Basinger, Russell Crowe little reunion.
Yeah. LA Confidential, right?
Yep.
Yeah. But fantastic movie. I love it. Now I'm going to pick another one because it's no holds barred here.
I mean, Ryan, though, I feel like you can speak up.
Yeah, but I mean,
But I almost feel
don't
like
wanna be a bother.
I almost feel like you don't even realize it until we're halfway through it.
No, I remember
And then
it.
you're like, oh.
because I remember Matt said it goes like this. That's all right. It doesn't matter.
I see. I totally got thrown.
So no, I'm going to go,
Yeah.
and then it would be
Matt.
Matt.
Matt goes,
Okay.
Matt goes.
And then we're
And,
back on
and then
track?
Justine goes last.
And then you go, and then me.
Yeah.
Okay.
I am going to go with, which one do I want? Because I only got two left. I'm going to go with The Fugitive. 1993 action thriller. Harrison Ford, Tommy Lee Jones, Julianne Moore, Joe Pantoliano. As the plot, wrongfully accused of murdering his wife, Richard Kimball escapes from the law in an attempt to find her killer and clear his name. Pursuing him is a team of U.S. Marshals led by Deputy Samuel Gerard, played by Tommy Lee Jones, a determined detective who will not rest until Richard is captured.
Great movie.
Yeah. This is, I feel like Harrison Ford has just been like the man for so long. Because I was thinking, I'm like, well, this is probably like his bread and butter years, the 1993. But I mean, it's just pretty much from the late 70s on.
And this movie's incredibly rewatchable.
Yes,
Like
it
if it's
is.
on TV, like I feel like it was always on like TNT or whatever. Like I'd put it on.
Yeah. And it's part of the never-ending saga of Harrison Ford and his family.
And I think, yeah, my wife,
Something happened to his family.
I
He
didn't
needs to-
kill my wife.
my family first.
Where's my family? Why do you keep losing your
That
family?
YouTube mashup they have of him saying that all the time is so funny.
Yeah.
Didn't this also like spawn like a TV show with Tommy Lee Jones,
I think so. There's a
like a U.S. like about U.S. Marshals or something like that?
yeah, and there is
Was he nominated?
I don't know. Tommy Lee Jones or
Yeah,
Harrison
I thought
Ford?
Tommy Lee Jones was.
He won MTV Movie Award for Best On-Screen Duo.
Well,
This is my
that's
wife's suitcase.
that's the award I was referring to.
No, yeah, he did win the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor.
You have my wife's suitcase.
This is
my
my. Where's my wife?
Where's my wife? But I think there is a TV show coming out based on the movie.
I gotta be honest. It was funny 5 or 6 years ago, everything being remade, but like
No,
it needs
stop.
to stop. Like I'd be totally fine with. Sure, you're gonna make a fugitive TV show. Just call it something else and don't say you're
Yeah,
just fucking
pull a Fast and the Furious like they did with Point Break. They made the same exact movie, just change surfing to cars.
You don't even you don't even have to say that it
Yeah.
that it, like inspired by. Just let people figure it out.
It's infuriating.
Yeah.
Like no one has like it's annoying that no one has any new ideas, which is
It's-
why Knives Out was so fun because
but it's funny because
like they don't make those movies anymore.
because
basically.
I do subscribe to the belief that everything is remixed. Like
Oh, yeah.
everything is inspired by something. Nothing is truly 100% original. But you also don't need to shove
yeah.
like old properties down our throats. I don't need it. Like just call it something else.
Yeah.
It's fine. Whatever.
And I guess like who's it for? Like who?
It's the name recognition for
Yeah, but-
whoever liked The Fugitive.
I feel like you're gonna miss out like on a whole group of people because
Sure.
if you're calling it The Fugitive, it's like we know what that is and our parents know what that is, but like anyone younger is probably gonna be like, well, I don't want to watch this.
You also could miss out on an opportunity to call it something way more compelling
Yeah.
Yeah.
than The Fugitive. You know.
Well, this was like I guess the one I saw is a Quibi that Quibi thing that
like
died
10
a
second,
quick death.
like that. Yeah.
So it was that. It was Kiefer Sutherland played, I guess, the Harrison Ford character. Because he's Mike Farrow, is an innocent man on the run, desperate to clear his name. He is pursued relentlessly by a determined detective. So I guess it's the same.
He's going to be in it?
No, this was last year.
Oh, okay.
2020.
I was going to say, tell me they're making like a remake of this and casting someone like who's relatively close to Harrison Ford in age.
Now.
Tommy Lee Jones is still in it.
Yeah, he's still the detective. All right, that's my fifth round pick.
So now am I picking 2?
Wait, did you just do? I'm sorry. You did the nice guys. You did that.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I've
Now
done
you're
4.
picking 2.
And
I
then we're
pick-
back to normal.
You're picking 2. Ryan picks 1. Then I
Yes,
go last. Yes.
correct.
Okay. So my first
got
one
this.
is a favorite of mine. I don't think that either of you are going to pick it because it kind of flown under the radar, but I wanted to just pick it because I wanted to pick it higher because of just how much I enjoy the movie. I'm going to read the synopsis. Stranded at a desolate Nevada motel during a nasty rainstorm, 10 strangers become acquainted with each other when they realize that they're being killed off one by one.
Is it? Is John Cusack in this movie?
Yes.
Is it Identity?
Yes. Identity. Love this movie. I love John Cusack in a lot of the stuff he's in, most of the things he's in. But this is just a great movie. It's John Cusack, Ray Liotta, Amanda Peet, Alfred Molina, John C. McGinley, just to name a few. Essentially, the plot is exactly what it is. Just seeing this is right up your alley. It's one location. It's the motel. It's heavily raining the entire time, and these strangers figure out, like I said, they're one at a time they're being killed off. They also start to realize that they all have a lot of things in common. I think one of the things was they all had the same birthday, and then
I have seen this, so
I've never seen it.
very good, very good. It's a super not a deep cut, but it's just like a movie that
It actually
I think
sounds,
it's a kind of a deep cut, to tell you the truth.
sounds very similar to Bad Times at Del Royale.
but it's very good, and I love John Cusack in it. He's so good.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like John Cusack too.
I do too. I wish she was in more things.
America's Sweethearts.
Love America's Sweethearts.
Great movie.
Yeah, fantastic movie.
Should have been on my list.
I don't know what we would have used it for, but
Do you know that
I'm waiting for the time.
Murder Mystery.
Do you know that Adam only recently watched Con Air?
What is wrong with Adam sometimes? He watches The Hobbit like 3 times a week, and he can't watch Con Air.
I know how many times he watches it because he watches it through my Netflix, and I know how many times he watches it. But
He'll watch Michael Fassbender as Macbeth, or in Macbeth.
One night,
Macbeth's character.
I'm on my couch and I'm watching TV with Lindy, and I'm looking at my Twitter, and it was during the pandemic, right? It must have been, Ryan. All of a sudden I'm seeing Adam in all capital letters. He's like live tweeting Con Air.
Oh, yeah.
And
He
I'm
was
like,
hammered.
I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, I'm drunk and I'm watching Con Air
my
for the
God.
first time.
We watch Con Air all the time.
Great
Great
movie.
movie.
Yes. That onesie you got Jack.
Oh,
That you and Lindy got Jack
Yes.
was just.
Yes.
I was so upset when he grew out of it because I was like, I would love to send him to daycare in that, just to see like.
we can set him up with a shirt
Yeah.
with the same picture on it. We can
Like that, and then
appreciate Nick
he was
Cage.
doing like whenever the wind hits him, sometimes he does that, and I'm like, oh, he's doing like the Nick Cage thing from Con Air. Oh,
My birthday is July 15th. Or what is it? What is the?
my birthday is July 14th.
Yeah.
My daddy's coming home on July 14th.
Oh,
It's
man.
so close to June 14th that it would have been perfect.
Okay. And then coming back around, I'm going to go with the 1995 hit. Just seeing, are you getting it yet? 2 detectives,
Damn it.
a rookie and a veteran.
Yep. Yep.
Hunt down
Yep.
a serial killer
This is what screen I was on.
who
You're
uses,
on the
For my
actual.
next pick.
Yeah.
You
who
son-
uses the 7 deadly sins as his motives.
Another
This is, of
Fincher.
course,
Fincher's got a
7.
lock on this.
Yeah, 7.
What's in the box?
Brad Pitt, Morgan Freeman, Kevin Spacey, Gwyneth Paltrow.
It's Kevin Spacey heavy podcast today.
Yes.
Who knew?
What have we done?
Great movie. A very shocking ending. Again, another one that if you know how it goes, it would probably be totally ruined for you. But probably still worth the watch, I would say. Brad Pitt is great in it, and so is Morgan Freeman.
Awesome movie.
Yeah.
Very disturbing. Like,
Yeah,
on a
it's
lot of
very
levels.
disturbing.
Super disturbing. It's not for the faint of heart.
No.
No.
Yeah.
I appreciate how gritty it is though. You know?
This is sold the DVD I have for 7, which I still have, somewhere. I think you have to turn it over halfway through. It was like one of those.
Oh, really?
Like when it
Yeah,
hits a
yeah,
certain
yeah.
point, it's like turn DVD over. You gotta
That's
turn
so
it over.
funny.
Yeah.
Oh, to watch the second half of the movie?
Yeah.
That's funny. Good pick.
Yeah.
So it's my turn, last
you.
round pick?
It is.
I'm glad I get to pick this one.
Was that was that it for me?
I think so. Did
Yeah.
you pick
Right, yeah.
You pick
That
5?
was it. That was my last pick. Yep.
All right. A group of friends who meet regularly for game nights find themselves entangled in a real-life mystery when the shady brother of one of them is seemingly kidnapped by dangerous gangsters. So, name of the movie's in the description, Game Night.
Yeah.
One of my... So, and I forgot what I was... I don't know if we said this on the podcast, but it's like kind of... You'll maybe get one year, maybe, of like a really good rated R comedy. Like, it just doesn't have... You know, you get a good PG-13 one or the here and there, but like a solid rated R comedy. I feel like those are not the hardest movies to make, but it's tough to make a good one that's legitimately funny. And Game Night is.
We were talking about it.
Yeah.
We were talking about
So
Vacation Friends.
Yeah.
It's so funny. It's
We
so
watched
good.
Game Night a lot.
Yes.
I feel like we used to watch it whenever we went to New Hampshire too.
Yeah.
We'd bring
Like
it.
anytime we would hang out, we're like, do you want to watch Game Night?
This is just fun.
It's just a great movie, great cast. So you have Jason Bateman and Rachel McAdams, who are fantastic together, especially as a couple. I think they have great chemistry together. Jason Bateman, Rachel McAdams, Kyle Chandler
Kyle Chandler
is the best.
He's
I love
so
Kyle
good.
Chandler. He's so good. Sharon Horgan is really good in it. Billy Magnuson's very good in it. Lamorne Morris is very good in it. I think everyone's good in it. And then obviously Jesse Plemons.
my favorite character. Is
So
Jesse.
funny.
It's not going to be very profitable
And
for
what-
Frito-Lay.
It's got the evidence at the end. That's like,
Yeah.
like the letter he wrote to Frito Lay about if they ever do that promotion. What's the dog's name? Bastion.
Yes, Bastion. Just, I mean, a great movie. And as the movie progresses, it gets better and better. Like the plot is like very well thought out, and it's just funnier and funnier. I love everything about
And you
it.
know why I like that movie? And this might be just like, you know, the female perspective, whatever you want to call it. I like how like the couples aren't like against each other. I feel like normally in that movie you'd be like they'd be fighting about something, or
Yeah.
it'd be like the men against the women or whatever. But they're all like really good teams, which I find like Jason Bateman and Rachel McAdams are fantastic
Yes.
together, and they have such good chemistry. I would love them to be in more things together.
I agree, and I think it's because they're like rooting each other on, like helping
Yeah.
each other out.
It's like an actual version of like what a married couple that likes each other is,
Yes.
which I feel like
Yeah.
you don't get to see a lot in movies. It's always like, you know, they're always pissed at each other for something, but
Yeah.
And like that would be why the plot advances, because you know they're arguing with each other or something.
Yeah.
Instead, it just it's a smart movie.
and then
It's
the
smart
whole
funny.
thing with like the Denzel thing, it's just so funny in that movie. And what's his face? The guy, like the dumb one, is
Billy
so
Magnuson?
funny.
Yes,
Yeah.
he is, and he was in something else recently too.
You're thinking of Aladdin?
Maybe. Yeah,
Was
he
he
played the bad
alive?
guy, right?
Yeah, I remember. No, he played like one of the princes or whatever. And remember, he was really funny. He was like some Icelandic like.
I don't remember
know.
many things from that movie. That's
I mean, I know one thing you remember.
yeah. Don't wound me up.
DJ Khaled. Well, let's just sit back down. See what this is
Yes, we're
about.
gonna.
we were gonna leave.
Yeah.
So he's in No Time to Die, which I would know about because I haven't seen it. Oh, he's playing Paulie Walnuts in The Many Saints of Newark.
He was in Into the Woods too.
Yes, he
in that.
was.
I gotta be honest. The more I see trailers for that movie, and the more I see of the characters in that movie, the more I'm worried.
Why?
I don't know. I feel like they're gonna jump the shark.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't know.
What is this?
It's the Sopranos movie.
it's a prequel.
I have no interest in this at all.
David Chase did it, but there's a lot. I think that I'm hoping. I'm holding out hope for that the marketing team just like is going nuts with it, because like you saw the trailer when he was
Yeah.
like Christopher and the baby. It's like the baby Christopher, and he's like, oh, and maybe he knows something. The babies know stuff from beyond the
like they're gonna do
grave.
too much.
I don't think
Yeah.
this is necessary anymore. Like, who's asking for this? I feel like
I mean,
I feel like every time they do a sequel or a prequel to something that was great, it cheapens the original.
yeah. I mean, it would be tough to do that to the Sopranos.
One thing
I
about
think.
how funny The Hangover was, but now when you think of it, you just think of like those sequels that sucked, and now
Yeah.
you're like, oh, you just
Yeah,
kind of
no,
lump it
you're
all
right.
together.
Yeah.
Well, because the only thing is, I mean, I still think there's a lot of story to tell that we don't know about.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we don't know about Dickie Moltisanti. We don't really know about Johnny Soprano. And
I don't want him to like run into like young Carmela. Like I don't want like I was talking about this with
I'm not
my
worried
Mike.
about that.
You know, like I don't want things to just be like brought in just for like, oh, you remember this character from The Sopranos? You remember this character from The
Yeah.
Sopranos? They're young. SNL did that skit.
I was just thinking of that. It's such a funny skit.
It is, but like SNL did that. Like that's satire. So I hope David Chase is like locked and loaded. You know what I mean?
I'm not worried about that. But the only thing is, there are a lot of characters that in The Sopranos we saw them much later on. Like,
Yeah.
Paulie Walnuts was part of Tony's dad's crew. So
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
it would make sense to see a younger version of him.
Absolutely. I'm not saying it's not weird. It would be weird to see those characters. I'm just saying I hope that they don't like
If they do that, it would be very stupid because it's not nobody.
Dr. Melfi. Like, I don't think she's
No,
needed. You know what I mean? Like,
I don't think that's
you
gonna
never know,
happen.
though.
I hope not.
They
I
had,
don't
you know,
think
they
will.
had Edie Falco like record for the movie.
For what?
We don't know, but she was brought in.
We don't know.
To do lines.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just a voiceover. Hopefully, maybe it's like her post.
Yeah.
Post-Sopranos? I don't know,
Or
anyway.
it could just be a red herring. Maybe.
Could be.
I hope not.
Anyway.
But anyway, I do like him as an actor, so I'm interested in seeing him as Paulie Walnuts. So, but Game Night is my last pick.
Got it.
Wow.
So I have one more pick, right? I picked
Yeah.
4.
You have the final one.
So you didn't pick, Justine. So you didn't pick one of the old ones that I have here.
Interesting. Well, I'm not. So
You don't feel pressured. I'm just.
yeah.
I'm
So I
trying to
had
figure it
like a
out.
list of. Is it a Hitchcock movie?
No, it's not.
Oh, okay. Because I had a list of Hitchcock movies, and I was like, I want Rurindo, so I'm picking that. I had both the Shane Black ones on here, but I want Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. I wanted Knives Out. Clue. I'm wondering what the old one is. Maybe it's on my honorable mentions. I think I'm gonna go with. I've got 2 here, but one of them is like real heavy. Well, they're both real heavy actually. Classic.
Is this another one you'll have to watch around Christmas time?
It is. One of them is, and I'm gonna go with that one. All right, my last pick is The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo.
Ooh. Good
So,
pick.
The plot:
It's very dark.
a wealthy Swedish industrialist, Christopher Plummer, classic,
Classic.
hires disgraced journalist Mikael Blomkvist, Daniel Craig, to solve the 40-year murder of his niece, who he believes was killed by a member of his family. Blomkvist is aided in a search for a woman who's been missing for 40 years by Elizabeth Salander, who is a young computer hacker played by Rooney Mara. This is a great movie based on the book by Stieg Larsson, who had like he wrote 3 of them, and then I think one was published like by his partner or something after, because he passed away before they even came out.
Oh.
They're very good books. There's like a whole segment of this book and movie that's like incredibly upsetting and disturbing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure anyone who's seen it knows the scene. But this is a really good movie. It's like that, they're stuck in like this kind of place in the middle of nowhere, kind of same formula. Like one of these people, like these are all the suspects. One of them did it. It also has Stellan Skarsgård and Robin Wright in it. It was nominated for 5 Oscars. Another David Fincher movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got it.
He's the master of,
but
like,
this is
the-
like a big, I mean,
Yeah.
obviously I'm crazy about Christmas movies, which should obviously be a podcast when that time comes. But this I watch around Christmas time too, because it's like there's snow everywhere. It's deserted and dark. Like it's very good.
Well, tell me about the books. So I've only ever seen that movie, and there was another movie as well.
Yes.
But it's based on a
So-
girl that came to Hornet's Nest, right?
Yeah, so there were 3 of like the main books, and they were all movies, but they're in Swedish, I think.
Yeah.
And it's Numi Rapace, I think her name is, plays Elizabeth Salander
Oh,
in those.
Naomi I don't know if I'm saying it right.
Rapace or Rapace,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
not sure the correct way to say it, but she plays her in those movies, which are very good, but like they're all subtitled and stuff. I did like this version. I think they were supposed to make more, but they didn't. I don't know why they didn't. I mean,
Yeah, that's where I was kind of disappointed in, because I liked Daniel Craig.
yeah, and I liked Rooney. And Rooney Mara was like, she did a fantastic job in this. It was
She was very good.
quite the transformation. So I would have liked them to do more, but I don't know why they didn't. And then they I think, just did a recent one with the new book that he didn't write, I think, with Claire Foy, I believe, played her.
Yeah, so
from
what
The
was,
Crown.
what was the name of that one? I'll look it up.
That might be The Hornet's Nest, because I think there was Dragon Tattoo, The Girl Who Played with Fire, and then I can't remember the name of the
In the
third
books,
one.
is it a constant story about the same person?
It's the same, yeah. It like the next few books like follow her more, but like he's still in it. But it goes back into like her past.
So is that like a similar thing to what you're saying, like the Agatha Christie books with who's the detective from Murder on the Orient Express? Like
Hercule Poirot. I mean, in the like they follow her, but not really follow her. It's not like she goes into like a new situation with a new mystery. It's like it
okay.
goes into like her past, because like certain things start coming out, and like there's like a whole thing like where she's kind of brought up on charges of some sort, and she's in court, and like he's there for backup. Like, so it's still got the same cast of characters. But yeah, this one was I really enjoyed this movie. I mean, enjoy is a
It's a very good
is
movie.
a rough word, but it's a very good movie.
Yeah. It's a good pick.
Nomi Rapace is she's in Prometheus.
And she was in
Oh, okay.
She's also like, I don't know if she has like a secret deal with Netflix, but she's in so many Netflix original
Is she?
movies. like all sci-fi.
She probably does have a
but she does like I am constantly skipping through Netflix and adding things to my watch list, and she has so many like as the starring role like movies. There's like I have like 5 or 6 of them just in my watch list of movies she's done with Netflix originals.
She was in the second Sherlock Holmes too.
Never saw it. Never saw it.
Those
Saw
are
the
fun.
original.
Those are fun movies. Well, I mean, I guess they're not the originals. There's the newer ones. With,
The RGJ.
yeah,
RGJ.
and Jude Law, who were very fun together.
Yes.
That's another great pairing. That is another great pairing. Yes, for sure. Great.
All right.
That's it.
Hey, solid
So
draft.
I'd like you guys to say your honorable mentions first because I obviously have a lot, and I'd like to avoid.
I
So
don't think I have that many.
I had the Billy Wilder classic, Double Indemnity. Love that movie.
Was that the one you thought I was gonna pick?
Yeah, I thought so. So that essentially it's a story about it's an insurance salesman comes to this lady's house, and the lady essentially convinces him to kill her husband and then take the insurance money. It's another like it's from the where is it? It's an older movie. Why can't I?
It's got like that noir feel. Like
1944. This is actually one of the only movies that I remember. I read the book, and then I didn't know that there was a movie, and I watched the movie during a film class in college. It's very good.
sorry.
That's okay. It's very good.
is.
That's one of them, and then Zodiac. Obviously, Justine picked it last week. Another Fincher. I had Game Night. Memento was another one I had. Get Out. I struggled with picking that one because I don't know if you can really count it as a murder mystery. There is
Yeah. mystery
to it, but I don't know if you can. If maybe it's just a thriller. Like maybe it's not a murder mystery.
I think it's more of a psychological thriller.
I felt like the other ones that I
But it
picked
could hit like
better
that gray
fit.
area, or like it could be.
A Simple Favor
Yes.
was a good one that I liked, and then
Doesn't Holly really like that movie?
Yeah, I thought it was really good.
the other one is
Blake Lively's
the
great.
Maltese Falcon.
I have
is
that on here.
That's another classic, and also the Maltese Falcon has a lot of. There's been a ton of you wouldn't know it, but there's a ton of things that are pulled from the Maltese Falcon and used in pop culture. One of it being the MacGuffin, which is the classic Hollywood term for like something that's like I don't even know how you would
It's like Hitchcock used it a lot. So it's like,
Yeah.
have you seen Psycho?
Yeah.
Okay, and I'm assuming have. Like, how she steals the money in the beginning of Psycho? That's a MacGuffin. Like, the money doesn't matter in the plot, in the whole overall reaching plot of the movie, but like you're made to believe it matters in the beginning, but it's just
So you're
kind of like
focusing on that while
it's like a
stuff.
red herring. It's like a false lead of like what you think it's going to be about, and then it turns out to have just kind of like no point, like almost like the briefcase in Pulp Fiction. Like you know.
Right.
It's not,
That's right. That's
yeah.
and that's a very good example of it that Quentin Tarantino uses. It's like the briefcase opens, you see a shine of like gold light on people, and you don't know what it is, but it doesn't matter. That's not the point of it. So that Maltese Falcon. So that's it. All my other ones got picked by either you guys or that was it.
I love the Maltese Falcon.
So I had two that haven't been said yet. Fargo and Mystic River.
I have Mr. Gerber on here
River's a
too.
Really good
Yeah.
movie.
Sean Penn. Great in that. Well, they're all
Kevin
good.
Bacon,
Tim
My
Tim
boy.
Robbins.
Emmy Rossum
Yes.
from Jeff Mell's favorite version of Phantom of the Opera
Tim
I've
Shameless.
yet to watch that. Still haven't seen it.
with Gerard Butler.
I don't know. Like I'm not afraid to watch it.
I mean, I hope not.
not
Matt's like terrified of the Phantom of the Opera.
But Phantom of the Opera is my favorite musical. If you asked me, Matt, you can go see anything live. What would you want to go see? It would be Phantom of the Opera.
It's because of the chandelier.
Partly because of the chandelier, but
all I remember.
I love Phantom of the Opera.
Loves the chandelier.
So, and I wouldn't be deterred by
Cinema.
it just like to think that like it would ruin my experience with the flight. I just haven't seen it.
Those are the only ones you had?
Yeah, those are the only two.
Okay, so this one I thought you were going to pick. Primal Fear. Yeah.
That's a good one. I didn't even think of that.
With Richard Gere, Edward Norton, and Laura Linney. And Alta Boy is accused of murdering a priest. There's a whole split
Wasn't that
personality, insanity
Ed Norton's
thing.
acting debut?
It was his debut.
And-
He was nominated for an Oscar. And
rare.
his part was almost played by Leonardo DiCaprio. Just some internet trivia I found, which is interesting.
That would have been the same year that Leonardo DiCaprio was doing What's Eating Gilbert Grape.
So he probably passed for that,
Probably.
I would assume.
And terrible decision because we've never heard from him since.
Right.
Who is he? I don't know.
Cast to the abyss.
This is-
I have two other Hitchcocks on here. I have Dial M for Murder. Have you ever seen this?
Oh no, 93 was What's Eating Gilbert Grape. Just a whoopsie.
Oh, okay.
I have not.
Whoopsies. Oh boy. Well, I don't know if she would really know off the top of her head. She's not a huge What's Eating Gilbert Grape fan, I don't imagine. So Dial M for Murder is a man plots the murder to get rid of his adulterous wife, but he's backed into her corner when she fights back and kills her assassin in self-defense. They also remade this as A Perfect Murder with Gwyneth Paltrow and Viggo Mortensen and Michael Douglas, like back in the 90s.
I watched that over the summer.
It's based on this like old, which I believe might have been a stage play. I think it was a stage play first. And once again, it all takes place in like one room, and you're seeing like all these different angles of it.
So I've never seen Dial M for Murder, but Perfect Murder is a very good movie.
Never seen it.
It's good.
Grace Kelly, love Grace. I mean, Hitchcock loved Grace. Everyone loves.
I was
Grace
gonna say
Kelly,
that's
yeah.
your second Grace Kelly.
And then I had Psycho, obviously, which is a classic. But everyone kind of knows the twist at this point, so it's not.
Still good though.
It's a very good murder mystery because you think one thing the whole time, and then in the end, when like that whole scene happens, you're like, it's terrifying.
Yeah.
I have something under here. It's another Agatha Christie one. It's called Evil Under the Sun, and it's another Hercule Poirot movie. It's from like the 80s, and I remember really liking this book, so I had watched the movie. He basically takes a holiday during his stay. A woman's murdered. He has to like find out who did it. With like all the people at the hotel. Maggie Grace is in this, which is. Maggie Smith. Isn't Maggie Grace the girl from Lost?
Yep.
And Taken? Yeah, not her.
I was gonna say
She probably wasn't even alive at this
The
point.
worst and lost.
Shannon.
Shannon. Oh,
I have Gosford Park. I have an honorable mention. I'm not a big fan of Gosford Park. I tried watching it a few times.
I saw this on
It's
lists,
like
but I've never seen
A
it.
classic, like it's the same. Like everyone's at a hunting, like at a country cabin for like a hunting weekend, and someone dies, and like it's kind of like an upstairs downstairs thing where there's like you get like the view of like the help downstairs, and then you get like all the rich like snobs upstairs, and they're trying to figure out who did it. So it's
misleading
okay. I
title.
feel like it's I feel like it was a big Oscar like thing at the time, but I find it kind of slow.
Ryan Phillippe,
Ryan Phillippe's in it.
Helen Mirren.
Helen Mirren, Maggie Smith again, Michael Gambon, Clive Owen.
Ooh.
I also have something on here called The Last of Sheila. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of this. Basically, this character Sheila was killed in a hit and run, and a year later, her husband invites like everyone who was at the party where she was killed on his yacht for like a week. And
He fights them.
no, he invites them. It's just like a cage fight the whole time.
He fights.
And they play like a scavenger hunt mystery game. People end up dying, and they kind of have to figure out who did it. But it was fun because it was apparently written by Stephen Sondheim and Anthony Perkins, which is an interesting pair
Yeah.
in general. Never mind to write a movie together.
What has Perkins done?
He's Norman Bates.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And I'm assuming you know who Sondheim is.
Yeah.
I also have L.A. Confidential on here,
It's a good one.
Yeah.
but then that was another Spacey situation.
His name has been said too much.
It has been said way too much in this. The Thin Man, which is like an old book that they made into a movie, which is really fun. It's just like a detective and his wife like investigating a murder case like for fun, like someone they know is like been killed, and they just think it's a blast investigating murder cases, which is funny. And then I have one on here because Who Framed Roger Rabbit is actually a very good
I didn't
like
even think of
murder
that. That's
mystery.
very good. Yeah.
It's so fun. I remember it being terrifying as a kid. Like the end of that movie creeped me the hell out. As a
Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
Like-
it's creepy.
Christopher Lloyd, Bob Hoskins, Roger Rabbit,
Hey,
Jessica Rabbit.
speaking of Mario,
I was gonna say the original Mario.
Mm-hmm. So that's what I got here.
Very good.
a very diversified list.
Yeah, I love
Yeah,
it.
it's your favorite genre.
If I see I'm watching it.
Yeah. I do like once in a while, I'll just type in like best murder mysteries on Netflix and see what comes up.
I was nervous when we first decided on this draft because I didn't think I was going to come up with any. But then you realize that like it's more than just Clue.
Yeah.
And, you know,
Yeah.
Well, because your mind automatically goes to like Clue, Knives Out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, those solo setting.
And this is like my favorite book genre. So this is what if I'm reading a book, it's this. Like I love
that
Agatha. I read all of Agatha Christie's books. I watched this like weird. It was on Amazon, and it was like a TV series about that detective. And I just watched all the episodes, and I was like, this is really stupid, but I'm enjoying this a lot. I love a good British detective. Well, he's not British, but I love a good like English countryside murder, and like he's always traveling or vacationing somewhere and he just had, like, I don't think there's one actually in, like, Belgium where he's from, so I don't know.
How do you feel about Adam's pal, Harry Hole, or whatever the hell his name is?
Okay. Oh,
Is it the Swedish detective?
that's the books that he was asking people to read. So I read a lot of them. I read, I think, 8 of the books. Yes.
How many are there?
Maybe 12. I feel like Adam told me there were 12. But, like, I got to a point where I'm not the biggest fan of him, of, like, the detective in general. There are side characters I like. I feel like, I don't know. Some of them were enjoyable and very interesting, like when you're trying to, like, kind of solve the murder mystery. But they focus a lot on this stupid girl he's, like, was dating and he's, like, obsessed with. She is the biggest stick in the mud, boring, like, there's nothing. There's nothing there. There's no characterization. It's like a classic, she's just a pretty girl and she's obsessed with him for some God knows reason because he's, like, kind of a pile of crap. And she's got this kid who I also don't care about. And they, like, bring them in way too much to these stories. And I kept texting Adam and be like, I cannot stand these two. Tell me that they're not in these anymore. And he's like, no, they're not in a lot of them. But, like, everyone I read, they were in them. And I'm like, I can't take these two anymore. And then they became a very central point in the last book I read. And I was like, I got to take a break from this for a while. I'll probably go back to it at one point. But, like, they're just not interesting, those two.
So his name is Harry Hole?
Yeah, Hole.
Remember, Adam was saying his name was Harry Hole.
I was like, I hope they came up with a better name than
For
that.
months and months, he was
Yeah.
telling us about Harry Hole.
But some of them were good. I'll give him that. But
Okay.
I just, like, some of the side characters, I was like, why are these two here? They don't need to be here.
Ryan,
Yes.
what have you been watching?
Ooh. Wasn't expecting to be asked this
sorry,
question today.
You want to go first?
No, I'm just kidding. Obviously, I was expecting to be
Well, I
asked.
didn't know if you
At some point.
Yeah, but-
No, so I've been watching a lot. So Holly and I have this fantastic television routine down. We just watch a ton of I haven't watched a good movie in a while, which I kind of want to get to, but I feel like by the time, like, Lenny goes to sleep, Holly is not exactly a night owl. She likes to go to sleep early. So, like, TV shows are our bread and butter. So I'm just going to go through the list of the shows we've been watching. Walking Dead, we're still watching. The most recent episode of Walking Dead was kind of like it focused on two characters. One we, like, kind of know. She's kind of newer. Her name's Connie, but she's deaf, which is kind of like an entirely new type of character in the, like, zombie apocalypse. But they did it from her perspective. Which I'll talk more about deaf characters in Only Murders in the Building, but it's kind of weird that
It's funny if, like, you haven't seen it and then you're hearing that.
yeah.
We'll discuss them more.
We'll discuss it, but it's weird. It was the episode, like, that debuted on the same week. Well, like, The Walking Dead focused on this character Connie, but so they did it from her perspective. So a lot of the episode was just, like, muffled silence, kind of, which I didn't think the zombie apocalypse could be more horrifying.
Yeah.
But imagine being deaf.
And, like, not being I'm actually shocked that this person has survived.
Yeah, I am
If, like,
too.
you can't even, because, like, usually you can just hear them lumbering
Right.
towards
Or,
it.
like,
Yeah.
Frankenstein, I guess. But so it was her and this other character that we aren't very familiar with, but the actor is very good. I can't remember his name, but he was really good in The Leftovers. So they kind of, like, find each other in the woods, and then they stumble upon this house that they think is empty, but turns out it's not empty. But it's not zombies in it. It's like this weird, like, family of people that have just totally, like, lost their minds throughout
Do
the
they
zombie
speak
apocalypse.
normally?
They don't speak.
Oh, okay.
And they just, like, kind of crawl around. Like, it's horrifying. It felt like, but I don't know. It was just, like, more terrifying than usual because now you're so used to zombies in The Walking Dead. Zombies aren't really scary anymore. Like, the scariest people in The Walking Dead are the other alive people because they're all scumbags. But then you run into this, like, family and they, like, live in the walls and it's, like, super creepy. But you're seeing it from her perspective, so she's just, like, walking around and you see this, like, thing crawling behind her and she doesn't know it's behind. It was very well done. It was very suspenseful. I love this season.
It's like a horror movie.
Yeah, it is. And it's getting back to, I mean, you don't have the depth of the characters they had in the early seasons with all those, like, good characters with, like, you know, when John Bernthal was in it, with, like, Rick.
That's so long ago.
Yeah.
So long ago. But they had a lot. I mean, you had, like, Rick, Shane. I mean, even when Herschel was in it, Maggie was good, Glenn.
I loved that whole group.
Yeah.
I stopped watching after.
T-Dog.
They were all
T-Dog,
gone. And I
Merle.
was like, I
Merle.
don't care about any of these characters anymore. These are all new characters. What are you doing?
Yeah, it's tough. But I will say some of the characters they're focusing on now are pretty good, but you pretty much lost all the originals.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just Maggie, Carol, and Daryl.
Yeah.
But Daryl has he was the other half of the episode, and his storyline is very interesting too, because he's run into this group of like ex-soldiers who obviously are still alive because they're just like mercenaries, and that's how they survive. Like they're just very like strict and don't like take any crap. So they're able to kill zombies. They're able to kill any other like groups of people that try to overtake them. So it's him kind of like he got caught by them, but he ends up infiltrating them. But they are trying to get to Maggie and that group. Very interesting. Walking Dead's, I don't know. I like where this season's going. Also still watching Why the Last Man on Hulu, which is, chugging along. It's good. Not like too much is happening because this is another like post-apocalyptic show where like all the men, like human males and like male animals have just mysteriously died. But now you're kind of getting into, it's interesting, especially living in like post-COVID world now with like everyone thinks everything's a conspiracy. So like this huge event happens and you have groups of people who think like it's a conspiracy of like the government did it somehow. But there's one character who works for this like mysterious secret agent group who the day before this happened, she was pulled out of her assignment. She was like on assignment in like Oklahoma and infiltrated the Secret Service. It was right next to the president when it happened. And then in this newest episode, she met someone else who was part of the secret agent group who was also pulled off assignment and put in like the Department of Defense. So it's like, was this a conspiracy? Was this planned? Like, how did it happen? So it's getting pretty interesting. I still enjoy it. The Rookie came back. Thank God. I think
Is that a John Lynch show?
Yeah. Well, Holly and I love it. It's great. It's fun. It's like one of those guilty pleasure shows, but at the same time, it's actually a pretty solid show. Nathan Fillion's very enjoyable.
He's always enjoyable.
He is. He's really good. But last season ended on a huge cliffhanger. One of the detectives was kidnapped by the Mexican cartel, and she was pregnant, and it was her wedding.
Like a soap opera?
Kinda. But then they had to go and like rescue her, and it was funny. It's like, the beginning of the episode, like,
The Rookie went to rescue her.
Well, him and
They didn't
other
send their
cops.
top brass.
Well, they wanted the DEA to get involved, and they just like wrote it off in like a 2-second thing. They're like, we asked the DEA, they said no. I'm like, why? They're like, politics. I'm like, politics. It's like, wait a minute.
They would definitely let that happen.
Yeah, there's pregnant detectives kidnapped in Mexico, but politics. But it's a fun show, so I do like that. Watched the first 2 episodes of The Morning Show. Very good. Steve Carell was not in the first one, but he was in the second one. So I'm happy to see him. He looks terrible.
Is that worth a
By
watch?
design.
I haven't watched that.
Yes. Yeah, it's good. He's great. Jennifer Aniston's great. Reese Witherspoon's great. But my favorite character is Billy Crudup's character. So he plays like one of the network executives. But it picked up where it left off after season 1.
Also in Prometheus.
Yes. He's a very good actor.
He's in a lot of things.
He's just from
Say, I know.
But I like that you're just calling out
Focus.
people who are in
First 2 episodes are good. So it takes place, I think, 6 months after season 1 ended, with like the big thing with Reese Witherspoon, Jennifer Aniston's character. But it's been very good. Ted Lasso, I'm all caught up on Ted Lasso. And I know you said you didn't really like the newest episode, but I liked it a lot. Maybe because I'm just like
I didn't dislike it. I just felt like a lot of things kind of came out of nowhere that haven't had much like proof
proper
of it.
build-up?
Yeah, and not enough build up. Like
it was like the huge revelation with Jason with Ted Lasso. Was it this episode? Yeah.
Well, I mean, you knew he had mentioned it like a few episodes ago, but you didn't know like what happened.
Yeah.
Which was very upsetting. But like the whole thing with her and her mom and her dad, I was like, didn't we know that her dad was like a philanderer? Because wasn't that what they got into an argument about the last time she was?
And she always like kept leaving the dad and.
Yeah, like I thought that was why.
Yeah.
So that was weird to me that like she didn't know. And then the whole Keely and Jamie thing, I thought just came out of nowhere.
Yeah, which it kind of stinks, but I guess if they're gonna have Jamie now still be a part of it, but I feel like
it's fun when he's just like with the team.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like,
I don't think that was necessary.
I didn't like him.
The whole Danny Rojas not being able to walk in dress shoes was really funny.
Yes, it
I'll give
was.
him that. Loved
Jamie
him.
Tartt's accent when he says Keely, I love you, Keely.
That's
Perfect, right?
spot on.
Yeah. But he has this like very, very like deep accent. But I thought it was a good episode. Obviously, a huge Rick Astley episode.
Yeah, I mean,
which was fun.
who knew that Rick Astley would feature so prominently in this episode?
In Ted Lasso. But I like that. What We Do in the Shadows, still watching that. Another Colin Robinson and Laszlo team up.
We talked about good team ups the entire show, but this is the best team up that I've seen.
It was so funny.
And when you add in the neighbor too, it's just
when they're sitting there like playing that game, and like those two friends of his actually want to sit and play the game, and they're like, well, so who has this? Like you would think those two would be interested in it.
That's the best part. Is like he brings up the game, or you think they're just gonna like glaze over.
Yeah.
And the next scene is
They get like very invested.
Yeah.
and then when he like represents him in court. And Kyle Robinson's like, Laszlo made me bring in all his documents, which I'm going to be honest with you, it's mainly pornography. May I approach the bitch? Excuse me? Then may I approach the bench?
What did you think I said?
What did you think I said? That's just
And then the whole like Guillermo thing was really funny.
yes, yeah. That show is just so consistently
Oh my
funny.
God.
Such
It's
great
hilarious.
characters.
Like you wouldn't think the plot would. There'd be like a lot to it. Like they could do
to
as
be
many
able to keep
episodes.
going.
Yeah,
Yeah.
keep going and to be that funny, but it's so funny.
Yeah.
Also, still watching Heels, which this is a Ryan only show. Holly's not interested.
But
in
I do
Heels.
love Stephen Amell.
Yes, Stephen Amell is great in it. Chris Bauer is great in it.
He's from The Wire, right?
Yeah, he's
in The Office.
Frank Sabaka in The Wire, and he was one of he's like the angry salesman in that episode of The Office from somewhere upstate New York. Forgot.
What?
It's like a random episode of The Office when
Turf
it's like in the later, Turf War, like in the later seasons.
Oh, so is Michael Scott around in this? Because
I don't.
that means I saw it once when it was on TV and said I'm never watching these again.
Yeah, you definitely notice the actor. He's in a ton of stuff, but he's mainly known for The Wire. But his name's Chris Bauer, and he plays this like old wrestler who was like in this small. So it's like a small Georgia wrestling promotion that was started by Stephen Amell's dad, and then.
Do you recognize that man?
I do recognize that man.
Yeah, he's in a lot of stuff.
He was in a bunch of. Wasn't he the guy who?
He was in Brooklyn Nine-Nine too.
In Parks and Rec, wasn't he the one that got into a fight with Leslie at the bowling alley?
Yes. No, that wasn't him. But he was in Brooklyn Nine-Nine in one episode, I think, too. He's in like a bunch of different stuff, but he's really good in this show. And Michael O'Malley's in it.
I just saw that.
Heels.
So who is he in?
So Michael O'Malley plays, and he's like this biker guy with like this huge like beard, and his personality. He owns a wrestling company in Florida. That's like the rival promotion to the Georgia one, and like when he's like on the microphone in all his videos, he's like screaming, swearing, but then like most of his scenes take place in this diner when he's like meeting other people, and he's just this like well-spoken, like nice guy. He's like, look, I'm a successful businessman. I just want, but it's a very, very good show. If you like and enjoy wrestling, I think you can get like a little something extra out of it, because it is kind of cool how they talk about like, how they put the matches together and, all that stuff. Also, we're watching Life in Pieces. I don't know if you guys have ever seen this show.
No.
So it's on Hulu. I would highly recommend binging it. It's like, for me, it's right up there with like a Modern Family or like.
Is it funny?
Oh, it's hysterical. It's just one of those like half-hour sitcoms. It was on CBS for I think 4 or 5 seasons, and it's split up into 4 different storylines, but it focuses on one family. So it's Diane Wiest and James Brolin are like the
Love Diane Wiest.
yeah are like the husband and wife, and then
With a big old Diane Wiest affection.
and then Colin Hanks is their son. Betsy Brandt is the daughter from Breaking Bad, and I can never remember the guy's name, but he was in the newsroom.
She was the sister-in-law, right? The one that was married to Hank.
Yes.
Betsy Brandt. She was in an episode of Without a Trace recently.
Of course she was.
And I was like, I know this.
Who's the guy
lady.
from the newsroom?
He was like one of the producers. He was dating the blonde-haired girl at the beginning. Like,
Oh yeah, he's in the.
Oh, he's what's his name? Isn't he married to Amanda Seyfried now?
is he?
I thought so.
What the heck's the guy's name?
Don, wasn't his name Don in the show?
Yeah, his name is.
Yeah.
Don.
I know his name. It's gonna drive me crazy.
I think it's Mike something.
What if I told you his name was Thomas Sadowski?
Thomas Sadowski, yes.
I mean, maybe it isn't as familiar as I thought it was.
So Thomas Sadowski, Colin Hanks, and Betsy Brandt, they're all brother and sister. And then Diane Wiest and James Brolin are the father and mother. And then Colin Hanks' wife is Fawn Moscato,
oh my God,
who is hysterical. So
she's a gem.
yeah. And then Betsy Brandt's husband is Dan Bachtal. He was like the senator from Veep. with Robbie was his assistant, like the bald guy.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Yeah. So I forgot his name in Veep, Senator something. But they're just all really, really funny, and it's all within this like family dynamic of like they're all super dependent on the parents, and then the in-laws, like Dan Bachtel is like the husband, and then particularly Paul Moscato's character, like because Colin Hanks is like still a huge mama's boy, and they live across the street from them, so she's trying to like, no, you're my husband, not her son. Type
It was like an Everybody Loves Raymond vibe.
yeah, which is like part of it. It's just really, really funny. But there's like 4 parts to each episode, and they're all like 8 minutes each, 8 to 10 minutes. But then the storylines all come together. Highly recommend on Hulu. It's absolutely.
Maybe we'll
I
watch it.
guarantee you guys will love it.
You know what? Jeff loves Everybody Loves Raymond, so it's got that.
It's very funny.
Like
it's very
he's always
smart.
putting on. I'm like, who are you, my dad? Like, what's happening? Why am I walking into Everybody Loves Raymond?
And then last thing, which will lead into Justine's list, watched the most recent episode of Only Murders in the Building, which I thought was fantastic.
It was very interesting. The whole episode was. Can I say it? Should we? I mean, it's not really a spoiler, right?
No, it's not a spoiler.
It was silent because it was focusing on a character in the show that's deaf.
Oh.
So big deaf character week.
Wow. Yeah.
Unexpectedly.
2 shows.
So like once it first started, I was like, "What's happening?" Because I was like looking at my phone, I was playing a game, and I was like, "What is going on?"
You hear this like muffled sound.
Yeah, and so like you kind of it's all subtitled, and like even when it's not like when people are doing they're doing sign language and everything, and then even the parts that like are people with the people who aren't deaf, it's just like they're like doing something.
He's,
where
like,
they're not
reading their
speaking.
lips.
Yeah, yeah. So it was really cool, very unexpected, but
They
very
also-
interesting.
When they also kind of almost
And
gave
a lot
away-
happened.
Yeah.
Like it was a big episode for a lot of like major plot points happened.
Because there's a couple more episodes left of the season. They almost like gave away, because this whole time you're like, who killed the guy? Like who committed the murder? And in a way, they almost like gave you the answer, but not 100%.
But not really, because I feel like there's still
There's
something
still
else
more
coming.
to it.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I love it. I think it's a great show.
It's very good. But because like it was all silent, there wasn't a lot of like the funny like banter and stuff that they all have together. So
Nathan Lane, big Nathan Lane episode, but again,
Hey, love Nathan Lane.
who doesn't love Nathan
big
Lane?
Nathan Lane signing episode.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Like you've
So,
never
so
seen
you don't
him
get
before.
so you don't get the voice.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I need the voice.
Yeah.
Pepper. All right, that's my list. Justine. Go ahead.
My turn.
Yeah.
So I watched the Tony Awards this weekend. Obviously, I had Ted Lasso, What We Do in the Shadows, and Only Murders in the Building. I watched the Tony Awards. It was very weird. I don't know what was going on.
Is there a crowd?
I feel like it's a very
Yes,
strange Tony Awards,
everyone
right?
was masked. Well, it is. So these are the awards from like I think technically 2019 because then they got canceled. So there were only a few shows that were nominated because only a few shows had opened and had enough performances to like make them eligible.
Right.
Because then like Broadway shut down. So it was basically Moulin Rouge, the Tina Turner musical, and Jagged Little Pill were like the 3 musicals that were nominated. Which Moulin Rouge like took everything except like Adrian Warner, whoever played Tina, like who was fantastic. She won the Best Actress for Tina Turner, which I would love to see. I can only imagine the energy it takes to do that show every night because, like, Tina Turner was just such an high. Like I don't know how she did it.
Yeah. Any
but
good
it was-
performances.
Yeah. So this was the thing that they did that was weird. So I think they did this because I believe these usually happen in the summer. But because they're having them now since it's postponed, it like coincided with football. So they had like a 2-hour show on Paramount Plus. You had to like get a stupid I got a free trial for Paramount Plus that I'm gonna cancel obviously because I don't want this. And they did like
Super Bowl.
the Super Bowl.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Ben Vereen.
So they did all the awards, and usually during the awards they do the performances for like the musicals nominated, which they didn't do during the awards, and they saved like best musical and best play for later because then they had a show after on CBS called Broadway's Back, and it was just like a bunch of performances.
Okay.
And those performances of those shows were there, and then they did like the 2 main awards, and then they also had a bunch of other performances. Like they had like Kristen Chenoweth and Idina Menzel sing like a Wicked song, and they had like Adam Pascal and Empty Rap do a Rent song, and they had like a bunch of people do. Just like sing songs, like which was good and interesting, but it was just weird the way they did it. I don't know.
Especially doing it between 2 different.
Yeah, so it's like I'm going to bed. I'm not staying up. I just watched the rest of it the next day because I was like I'm not gonna stay up this. But it was cool like seeing like doing a bunch of performances and like Audra McDonald hosted the award show, And then Leslie Odom Jr. hosted like the Broadway's Back, which was fun. But I don't know. I feel like award shows have lost it.
They have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
COVID's not helping either, but
Yeah.
And then I also watched Controlling Britney Spears, which is it's on Hulu, and it was like the New York Times, like a follow-up to like the original.
oh, so it's different than the original one?
Yes, it's different than the original one, and it kind of they have like all these like court documents that have been like recently released that were sealed for some unknown reason. Well, the reason was like these people are jerks who are trying to steal our money.
Scumbags.
Yeah, and it had like interviews with kind of like a whistleblower from the security company that was like in charge of her security, which basically was just like keeping her a prisoner the whole time.
Yeah.
And he was like talking about like they had all these like recording devices in her room. They were monitoring her phone and like mirroring that and everything, which is like completely illegal. And then like they came to him with a flash drive when everything started coming out, and they like erased this, and he made a copy, so he's got like all this evidence and stuff like that. And it was just talking about like how crazy just some of the stuff that was going on. Like they had her like longtime assistant and like her costume designer, I think, talking about like how they were kind of like told not to be around her and stuff. Like they were trying to like separate them, and like the costume lady was talking about they were walking through the mall once and she saw a pair of Skechers, like literally Skechers. What's the most expensive shoe on Skechers? Like maybe like $30, if
They're not
that.
expensive
right.
shoes.
And she was like, "Oh, I like those cute. Can I have them?" And they were like, "No, you can't. You're like you don't have the allowance for that or something." Britney fucking Spears.
Yeah,
This
right.
is all like directed by her dad, right?
Yeah, like so he was in charge, but it was talking about these other people who were at like her management company, and like it was like her business manager, but they were sitting in on all of like her tour meetings, and they were like, she's gonna do this and this and this, and like setting a crazy schedule, and they were like, is she okay with this? And they're like, yeah, she's fine with it, but like she was kind of
a
just
wild
told what to
story.
do. There was one point where it's like obviously a conservatorship, like they were talking about how it's made for people like elderly who can't like clothe, feed, like support themselves, like who just basically cannot do anything for themselves. But then they were talking about like her schedule, and she'd be in like Japan one day, she'd be in London the next day, she'd be in America the next day, she'd be like Australia, like all over. It's like, does this sound like someone who can't support it? Like they're basically using her as like a cash, like they're working her to death and taking all the money. She had to deal with a public defender. She couldn't pick her own lawyer. Well, he was getting like using her money to get like the best lawyers.
Yeah, right.
To keep it. Like it's just so messed up. And whoever the judge was that approved this is a friggin' crook. Like there's no
totally.
way.
That's when I first heard about like got a deep dive into that story. Like that's the first thing I thought of. It's like how can
Yeah.
a judge possibly grant this?
It's like they had to have been in on it somehow. It's so suspicious. They had one like she obviously is being tested all the time, like for like drug and alcohol and stuff. And she asked that her father also be tested because she suspected he was drinking again. And they have like a recording where the judge is like, "Well, who is she to ask that?" What?
The person.
Yeah.
Like
under
what
the
the hell? Like
conservative-
you guys are
yeah.
testing her all the
That's
time, and you're gonna
nuts.
let the person in charge of this? It's just it's crazy. It's incredibly upsetting.
Didn't they want her to have like a Vegas residency or something?
Yeah, and she like finally was like, no, I'm not doing
Yeah.
this. And they kept adding, like they would say like you're done, like this is the end of your tour. That they added on like 3 weeks or something. Like she's being like
But she does have a
worked like crazy.
Vegas residency.
She was, yeah, she did have one for a while, but then they wanted her to kind of have like I don't know if they wanted to have her longer one or I don't know something
Yeah.
like that. And she finally was like, I'm not doing this.
Jeez.
Because she was making, like, at one point when she was under the conservatorship, she made like $80 million a year.
And
So
she was
clearly
like,
she does not.
No,
like,
she
she doesn't need to be. She's not like this senile old woman.
yeah, like you're not supporting her. Like she was supporting that. Like they were
Yeah.
taking all of her money and using it to keep her in this like prison. It's
It's wild that
horrifying.
this has been allowed to go on for
Yeah.
this long.
insane.
Shouldn't be up to us.
It just makes you so mad.
Yeah.
On a lighter note, I'm watching a lot of Arrested Development. That's like our show now that is on, like, you know, you go through, sometimes it's like, just put something on funny. Like, sometimes it'll be The Office, sometimes it'll be Brooklyn Nine-Nine. It's Arrested Development right now. It's so funny and just so clever. And all of them together, they're just hilarious together. It's such a funny show. I can't believe that it was canceled when it was canceled.
Yeah, because then I feel like it never got it back when they tried to
No, when they
redo it.
came back, it wasn't. Well, I also think that when they did, like, they were trying to get it on the air, but they all weren't, like, available.
Yeah.
So, like, that's why I think that first season, like, it wasn't them all together, which is when it really works, is when they're, like, dysfunctional as a family. But,
Oh, I meant to ask you. Was Will Arnett in season 1 of The Morning Show? That you remember?
I don't remember.
Okay. He's in season 2. It's not like a huge
Oh, yeah,
thing.
no, I don't
but
remember
He, like,
season
popped
two.
up in a scene, and I'm like, I feel like I would remember if he was in season 1.
I tried to. We were in New York. We were in New York seeing Waitress. the TV in the room had Netflix on it, and we were trying to. One night, I was like trying to have Lindy watch Arrested Development, and I just put on a random like episode from like I guess it must have been one of the earlier seasons because George Michael was still working at the banana stand, and it's when Maybe is like working with him, and she's like, "It's simple. Like we just take a
Throw
dollar,
out a banana,
throw it
take
and
a
he's
dollar.
like, "I'm not sure that you're doing the math the right way." So good. That Arrested Development is just a show of constant recurring jokes.
Yeah.
That's all it is. It's recurring jokes over and over and over and
And
over.
so many jokes just like in the background, like that you don't even like when Tobias was doing the Blue Man stuff. Like there's just blue handprints all over the house, and you don't even like notice it.
It's all.
It's so funny.
It's so cleverly written, and the way that an episode is shot and blocked, it's so layered and clever. Like there's so many jokes, and there could be like 3 or 4 jokes within a 10-second span that all point to different episodes from the past.
That you remember.
And you could like watch it 3 times and get 3 different jokes.
Like the whole, we're in the series, like the episodes right now with like Julia Louis-Dreyfus.
Yeah.
When they're like the law thing, and it's always come back to him like in that stage show where he played like a maritime, like Peter Pan was like a lawyer, and it was like, "You're a crook, Captain Hook." And they just keep like going back to that, and it's so funny. And they don't like. They don't like make it easy for if you're just jumping in and you're just hearing this like it playing in the background, like you have to have known what this is from. I listened to their podcast. Did you ever listen to that, Smartless?
No, what is
and
that?
And it's with Jason Bateman, Will Arnett, and Sean Hayes. And apparently, like, if they're really good, Sean Hayes played Jack and Will and Grace.
Okay, yeah.
They're all like really good friends. And every episode, they invite someone on. Like one of them invites someone on, and the other 2 don't know who it's going to be until they show up. But they have like so many like famous friends between them. And one of them. Greg Horowitz, who was like the show, he helped like create the show, I think.
Right.
They were talking about
Mitch Horowitz.
Did I say Greg?
Yeah.
Mitch. Yeah. Whoopsie.
Another last name.
Whoopsie.
Whoopsie.
Hey, I got you.
You got me. And he was talking about how they had this plan that because I guess House was filming on like the next lot, they wanted Tobias to like get a job on the show guest starring in House, and they wanted him to just be in the background as an extra of some House episodes. So like if you watched both, it'd just be like a really funny, like very specific
Like
group of people.
crossover?
Yeah, just seeing him in the background, like handing someone a tool or something, like no lines or something. But like they didn't want it. They were like, well, why is our show the fake one? And it's like, oh come on, this would have been really funny.
Yeah. That's funny.
Yeah, very funny.
I've listened to I've only listened to a couple. The Justin Theroux one is good.
It's so funny.
Yeah.
Well, I think he's like one of their best friends. So
Yes.
it's just all like
Yeah.
joking. The Conan O'Brien one's really funny.
Yep. Yeah, it's a good podcast. You'd really like that.
Yeah.
I'll have to check it out. The first episode is still so good when the barge that Tobias is on, like the gay
Yes.
protest, and she's like, and
It's like, they're so dramatic, it makes me want to set myself on fire. She's so funny. Oh my god! It's one of those shows that you
It's a
don't know who
banana.
your
I'm like, well,
favorite.
what could it cost? $10.
You don't know who your favorite character is.
Yeah.
We love the one where like they're all accidentally singing "Afternoon Delight" on the karaoke machine, and it's like. Like Jason Bateman and Maybe accidentally sing it together, and then they realize like the words, and then later Lindsay and George Michael accidentally sing it together before they realize the words. Oh.
Very good. Is that it?
Thunder.
Someone next door.
It's an escape room. Do
They just like bash down the door.
They just escaped.
you have any others?
No, sorry, that was it.
Oh.
Okay. So I had a good week.
Oh, I like it.
I had a very good week. So I'm going to start from the bottom and go up. I rewatched, I should say, The Last Boy Scout. Have any of you seen The Last Boy Scout, or have you seen it recently?
I have not seen it recently, but it's on Netflix now, right?
It is. That's how.
So I
watched
put it. I saw it, and I was like, I gotta put this on my list because I haven't seen this like in forever.
It sucks that Bruce Willis is such a pain in the ass to work
Yeah.
with because he was so goddamn good in action movies. It sucks.
Yeah.
Because he's not casting anything now, or the shit he's in is like nobody wants to see.
He's actually in a lot now.
Right, but nobody
they're
wants to
all
see
But
it.
they're not.
Bad.
The Last Boy Scout is so fucking perfect 90s action movie. It's perfect.
I've never
Do you
seen it.
remember the oh my god. All right, so I'm just going to tell you about the opening scene. The opening scene is about it's this football game. It's downpouring rain. You remember this obviously?
I mean, like very vaguely. Like I haven't seen it in a very long
it's
time.
downpouring. And it's halftime, and there's like this fake, like, what is the guy who sings the Monday Night Football song? But it's like Friday Night Football. It's supposed to be like the NFL, like a big game.
Hank Williams.
And yeah, right. It's supposed to be like, it's like a fake Hank Williams character singing that. It's the whole thing. And then this character, Kevin Cole, is in the locker room, and he's and he all of a sudden it's like halftime. They're like, "Yeah, we gotta get out there. We're doing good. We're winning. We gotta score more." And he's like the star of the show, and he gets a call, and it's kind of like the Pulp Fiction, like you're gonna throw the fight, or like, but instead they want him like you got to score a touchdown. Like you have to score a touchdown here, like for the betters. It's like the mafia, whatever. And this guy goes back out into the field. He catches the ball. He's a receiver. And he's running down the field. He shakes off a couple of tackles, and he's got people coming down on him. He takes a gun out of his pads, shoots 3 of the opposing players, and then runs into the end zone, and then kills himself. So it's the first 5 minutes of the movie, and I totally forgot about that. It's just a while. Anyway,
Does that fit into the plot?
It connects back to the like. It's a mystery of some kind, but essentially Bruce Willis is a private eye, but ex Secret Service. And it ties into like the person he's after later in the movie. But it's a fucking phenomenal movie. Bruce Willis.
Is it on anything?
And Marlon Wayans.
It's on Netflix.
It's on Netflix.
Yeah, it's on Netflix now.
Marlon Wayans?
Yeah. But not the dad. Not
Keenan Ivory Wayans.
who am I thinking? There's so many Wayans. Who's the one I'm thinking?
Not Junior.
No.
Not Happy Endings.
No.
Yeah, not Damon Wayans. Damon Wayans? Do you mean? Marlon Wayans is from Requiem for a Dream. Is it Damon Wayans' dad? The guy from Happy Endings' dad?
Oh my God, why can't I? I think so.
Yeah.
The guy from
Damon Wayans.
Blank Man
Yeah.
or whatever?
Damon Wayans. Yes.
Damon Wayans. Okay.
Sorry.
I was
Who
gonna
was
say,
in? He was in an episode of Happy Endings too, wasn't he?
Yes,
Did come
he
as
played his dad.
Yep.
Halle
Okay.
Berry's also in it.
Oh, all right. Maybe I'll have to check it out.
It's good. It's very.
I haven't. You know what? I would have watched it by now, but I haven't been home. I've been like next door while the kitchen's being done, so
Displaced.
I have to really pick what I'm going to watch.
Netflix.
Doesn't seem like
With
something your
Lisa
parents would
puttering
enjoy.
around.
If you go through action movies on Netflix, it's 90% like that type of movie.
Okay.
90s.
Classic 90s
Yeah.
action
Yeah.
movies.
Yeah.
Okay.
Steven Seagal, like ton of that stuff. Schwarzenegger.
Under Siege.
I guess 80s, 90s.
Steven Seagal.
I mean, that's one of the movies that's on my list
Yeah.
right now.
Those movies stink.
Young Tuco Salamanca's in that movie.
Is
which
he?
I totally forgot. Yes.
Oh.
Yes. I also watched A Fistful of Dollars and A Few Dollars More, which is the part of the trilogy, the Clint Eastwood trilogy. And then I watched Unforgiven straight after that.
Wow.
So Connor's watching all these movies too. Connor just
really?
watched The Good, Bad, and the Ugly because he came by Saturday.
I've seen The Good, Bad, and the Ugly a million times. And only like maybe in the last 10 years, I realized that is part of a trilogy of movies. And I didn't realize that A Fistful of Dollars and A Few Dollars More were the first 2 movies in it. Very good. I love Clint Eastwood.
What's the one where he plays like a cop or a sheriff?
Dirty Harry.
Yes.
Dirty
He's
Harry.
talking
is
about that one too.
Absolutely an absurd movie, but it's very good. It's very, very good. Unforgiven is I've never seen it before. It's my first time watching it. Have either of you seen Unforgiven?
I don't think so.
I don't think so. I've seen The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, but I haven't seen the other ones.
It's very, very good. You should watch it. It won the Oscar.
Val Kilmer,
I don't
right?
know.
No. Clint Eastwood and
I don't think Val Kilmer was around back then.
oh my
I
god,
thought it was in the early.
Morgan Freeman.
What the heck am I thinking of? I think he might be in it.
No, he's-
Is it
he's
a
not
west?
in it.
It's a western.
It's a
right?
western. Yeah. It's a western. Gene Hackman. Are you thinking of Gene Hackman?
I don't think
Well,
so.
they look exactly alike, so
So anyway,
He's not in it. Okay.
Clint Eastwood is a retired assassin, and this young, like up and coming assassin comes to him, and he heard his name, willed money all around, like he is like notorious. He wants to help with this job. He enlists the help of his once, Morgan Freeman, a friend that used to help him back when he was killing people, and they go out to this town to like basically take on this one guy, these two cowboys, but in the meantime, they get tangled up with this crooked sheriff who is Gene Hackman of this small town. It's fucking.
how old is Gene Hackman in this movie? I feel like he's always looked.
Well, he's like 90 something now, but he doesn't look old. Like I would say he was in his like mid to late 40s at this time. This is 92, I think it is.
I'm thinking of Tombstone
Yes, right. Yeah, right.
That's a good movie.
around the same time.
Anyway, great movie. If you haven't seen it, I was looking up to see if it won. Best Picture, 1993. Best Director, Best Supporting Actor, Best Film Editing, Best Actor, Best Original
Wow.
Screenplay, Cinematography, Production Design, and Sound Mixing. Unforgiven.
Okay. I'll have to check that one. Jesus.
I watched A Few Good Men.
Oh my god, It might be my favorite movie, actually. I was discussing this recently. I think it's the movie I watched the most.
Do you know why I watched A Few Good Men?
Because if we talked about Aaron Sorkin so much.
No, but as soon as I watched What We Do in the Shadows, the episode when they're in the courtroom, I immediately was like,
I need to watch that.
I need to watch a court drama, and the best one that there is
fantastic.
A Few Good Men.
It's so good.
Kevin Bacon, Tom Cruise, Demi Moore,
Jack Nicholson.
Jack Nicholson. Done. I also watched What We Do in the Shadows. So we already talked about that. So good. And then I watched Midnight Mass in 2 sittings.
I haven't watched any of it yet.
Neither
I
have
won't say a word
I think we're
about
gonna
it.
Start Friday.
So wait, you're done? You watched the whole thing?
Done. It's all 7. I watched 1 episode, and then I watched the six more the next day.
Because that's something I definitely can't watch over at Lisa and Jim's.
Yeah, it is so good. I keep hitting the mic. Mike Flanagan is so good. Like, his stuff is so awesome. Have you seen Dr. Sleep?
No.
Dr. Sleep, very good. Adam thinks it's better than the book. I've never read the book, but it's a good movie. I liked Midnight Mass a lot. I think it might be my favorite of his Netflix trilogy.
Really?
Yeah, I think so. I won't give away anything. I'm not going to say anything about it, but I think that just the approach and the subject matter is my favorite of the 3.
So the general plot is that like this priest comes to this town and is like essentially performing miracles, right?
Yes,
Quote,
that's the high level, like what the synopsis would read.
Is
and
there like murder involved? Like in his own?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, a murder most foul. There is multiple. There is it's this small island called Crockett Island, and they call it the Crock Pot, which is super charming. Like, all the people know each other. It's this like very small community of less than 100 people, but they would say like, oh, we used to be hundreds, now we're dozens, because of like, the fishermen can't make money anymore, and they talk about like real world events that have caused the people to leave the island and whatever. But it's just it's like fucking awesome.
Yeah, I think we're going to start, because we need to watch it. Like, I know I'm going to want to watch a handful at a time. So maybe Friday.
Yeah.
And the guy that plays the priest, I'm trying to remember his name. Do you know his face?
He looked really familiar when I watched the preview.
He's oh my god. I'm gonna look it up right now. I have it. And then the main character is from Zach Gilford. What is he from? He's from a show that Lindy knew.
What the heck is he in?
He's not in Friday Night Lights, is he?
He is. Yeah,
Right,
he
okay,
plays. He plays like one of the like receivers in Friday Night Lights, but he wasn't. He's best friends with Jesse Plemons' character. No, not the. He plays one of the quarterback.
I mean, well, I was wondering what position you play in the football team, so I'm glad.
It's quarterback, not receiver.
Hamish.
I'm glad that you cleared
Very
it up.
different.
Hamish Linklater? Is he related to Richard Linklater?
I don't know.
Hamish?
Yeah, he's in. He looks very familiar too. What the heck is he in?
That's what I'm looking him up right
And
now.
it's the girl who's been in both of the.
Kate Siegel.
Yes. Yeah.
She's awesome. And then also, there's a few other actors that you'd recognize their faces, but for the most part, it's kind of like an unknown cast. There's not a
like
lot
that.
pulled from. Yeah, there's not a lot like the father from
The Newsroom.
Haunting of Hill House is in it. And then other than that, I don't think
like
really there's any.
the young one or the old one?
The
Because they had like two, right? They had him when he was
right.
old. And they had
Well,
him when
I
he was
think
young.
I think he was the same. Wasn't it the same actor? Well, it's the
I
one
don't
who's the
think so.
uncle in Bly Manor.
Okay, so is that the one that
The guy from. was
he
it
played
E.T.?
Elliot?
Yeah.
in E.T.
Yeah. Henry Thomas.
Yes, right. Yes, right. Correct.
Oh, and Raul Colley's in it.
He is so good. He's one of the. It's a very
chef from,
awesome show. He's one of the bright spots.
He was the chef in Bly Manor, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. And Mike Flanagan has like taken a liking to him and cast him in this, and then hopefully then whatever he does next. But yeah,
I'm so excited.
I loved it so much.
Oh, and the mom's in it too.
Oh, is that who it is?
No, that's not it. Yeah, it. Nope. No.
Okay. Anyway, that's all I've been watching.
Nice.
That's it. Good week.
Solid week. Hey, you just gave me 2 good recommendations for movies.
Which two?
Unforgiven and The Last Boy Scout.
Watch The Last Boy Scout. It's good. Watch Unforgiven first. I think you'll enjoy it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to watch it right now.
That's it. Thank you again, Justine, for Celebrity Riddles.
Hey, thanks.
Great job.
It was a high pressure situation, but
Challenging.
I think you succeeded.
it's very
Good draft
challenging.
today.
Very good draft. Just solid episode overall.
So next week we were toying around with the idea of Ryan doing a show with past horny drafter Derek Hewling.
What would the the topic be?
I don't know.
It's got to be something Derek specific.
Yeah, I think you got to do maybe like child sports movies.
Yeah.
Like sports movies that involve just children.
Children's
Yeah.
sports teams.
Angels in the Outfield, Big Green, Little Giants. those
Sandlot.
type of movies.
Yeah.
Sandlot.
Okay. I'll come up with something.
Mighty Ducks, of
The
course.
Mighty Ducks, yes, of course. But I think you would love that. So if you guys decide to do that, just let me know and we'll figure that out. If not, we might end up just being back 2 weeks from now, or actually, no, I will. Justine, you're welcome. Again, you're welcome on the show anytime. Whether or not Adam is here, there's always an extra
You know what?
seat.
It's going to depend on what the topics are.
Okay, that's
Sometimes
fair.
I might enjoy just like picking what I think you guys are going to pick.
Well, I think that going forward, regardless, I think you should still, if you feel like it, give your hand at guessing which.
Yeah, because that was fun.
draft picks. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
It was very
But that was
accurate.
also a very like it was movie vehicles, so it was like if you know like you guys and what you guys like, it was an easy pick, I think.
yeah. Well, I think that if we do one that you think that like jumps out at you as like,
Yeah,
oh, I could
like
nail
I can
these,
guess what they're gonna pick here. Yeah.
I welcome it because it's been great.
It has.
That's it.
It's been a fun two episodes. And
Yeah.
I hope it continues.
Thanks for having me.
All right.
Fun.
I was thinking last week we need a sign off. We need like a last. Like,
You need like a,
We just do that.
but like it's silent because
Yeah,
like no
we
one
can
can hear
hear
what we're doing.
all right.
You could do good night and good luck. No one's ever used that before.
No, it's totally new.
Go for it.
Good
But
night.
do it in a
Good night and-
Jamaican accent.
Good luck. That's how Holly thinks Liam Neeson says good luck and taken.
Oh, we could do a nice Harry Potter quote maybe.
Oh, we could. Where's Paul?
All right, that's good.